and then you can click live screen on.
Should I turn this up?
You should be
Like that?
fairly well up.
Well, they always want it louder.
Okay.
So.
But you need to click live screen on.
Oh, okay. Just kidding.
Because they can't see you.
Here.
Yes.
They don't need to see me. Kidding. I know you guys would yell at me, so. Hello, Molly Sue and Aaron and Matty. How are you all doing? Feel like it's been a while.
Maddie did give you a raid, so you're gonna give him Viking raspberries.
I can't do the Viking raspberries.
Just give him regular raspberries.
No. Thankfully, Castle's here, so he can do the Raidorn. Not me, though. I've tried.
Oh.
He has problems, too. I don't have the lips for it. I'm just too tiny of a person.
It's a little bit dry.
Your lips are dry.
Yeah.
It's been hot.
It has been hot.
What's this? What are you guys talking about?
I was...
Oh, are you watching Bob's Burgers? Is that what that is?
Well, I was looking, Matty, so I don't know what the... Oh,
yeah.
Aaron is talking about Bob's Burgers, yeah.
Okay. It's the only thing that came to mind there. So, we are back to reading Son of Shadows by Juliette Marie. And if you recall, you were here last week, Leiden's brother has asked her to go to Shidouv, which is Aemon's marshland fortress, basically. And she doesn't like it there, for one. And second of all, she and Aemon have a very tense friendship now because he really wants to marry her and she keeps saying no. And he's found out who the father is, which makes it all the better. Hello, how you doing, Bear? Welcome in. Good to see you. Oh, we had Bethany in there. I missed her. I'm sorry, Bethany. I didn't realize you were in. Got all cut off over here. Hello, Esther. We are doing well, thank you. I hope you are also well. No problems over on your end. You are drowned? I bet, Maddie. Constantly giving you hydrates. Okay, so. I guess I should probably give people a little more time to get in, because I did start like half an hour late, so. You sent Castle a message on Gilded, okay? You have a gaming laptop? Woo! Congratulations. Now you can waste all of your time playing games.
Who's that?
Esther. Milu and Aaron and some regulars, yeah. Probably a fun quest each stream to drown you with hydrates.
Just real quick for all of the barkeeps who are in here.
Oh, you know what? Can I put this over here? Can I pop this out?
You used to be able to, they don't let you do it now.
That's annoying.
That's why I usually put the TikTok chat in the middle there, because you don't need to change scenes or anything, so...
It's too dark over here. You shouldn't be looking over here. The light's right there.
Look, this is how it's set up. I don't know what
Well, I'm telling you, it's broken. Fix it. Makes this brain work better.
Real quick, for all of the barkeeps who are in here, we have had a major influx in new patrons. Some of them very aggressive. So if you can all make sure you keep an extra eye out, especially over on Facebook. I know that there are no barkeeps on Facebook, but I know Bear's over there, but I know nobody has mod privileges.
Yeah, because
Facebook
it's
is
dumb.
stupid.
Yeah.
Can you guys just make sure you keep an extra eye out? And if anything pops
For
up...
grumpy people.
Yeah.
Alright. We put out a video talking about how Odin is mainly known as the wizened old man. Typically, when in actuality, like, that was just a mask he wore in the, like, when he was amongst mortals. So the real him is quite different, and people took offense to that for some reason. So they're in there arguing about it, but really it's just a story, and people need to calm down, in my opinion.
Yeah, very much so.
If anything pops up, yeah, just in case somebody comes in, decides to be all grumpy and pick fights with people, we don't like that. If you want to talk about stuff, it's absolutely okay. Talk about stuff. You're allowed to disagree. Talk about it. But if anybody gets rude, then we can't have that in here. Kayla, you were in the hospital. How come? You got diagnosed with complex migraines? Great. What's causing that? Ugh, I hope you'll be okay. That's terrible. It's nearly impossible to work and do anything when you have terrible migraines. We have even Captain. She has problems with migraines too. No idea, but you're still alive. I mean, alive is good, but it's, man, so they don't know. That's not good. Gotta love that. Bear's over on Twitch now. Okay, good. We got more spam over on Kick, like usual. We can always count on that. Love it. Why don't you do live in vertical format? We could, except that Twitch, I would say, is our main platform, and we're streaming to several platforms, and I want to cater to the people that are watching us on the big screen, so... What platform are these new patrons on? They're on mostly Facebook, sometimes TikTok. We get grumpy people, but
Yeah, right now it's primarily Facebook and TikTok where the grumpy folk
yeah,
are.
you know, they want to think that we're trying to poke at their beliefs or religion, and we're not. We are absolutely not. You are allowed to choose what you believe and follow as a religion or spiritual practice. We are not going to sit here and judge you and tell you you're wrong, but we do share stories. And there are different versions of stories, and that's just the truth. That's the truth. There's no need to take offense unless you feel like there's something worth defending. You experience migraines too, Esther? Rest in a dark environment, that's a good idea. You had a minor seizure? Oh my gosh. You were missing memory. Oh. Yeah, there are too many people that are just too soft. I can agree with that. You know, if you take a moment to really think about what is the point of being offended, you'll realize there is no point. Because nobody can make you change your mind, right? And being offended is definitely a choice. You make the choice. Getting offended means you're letting somebody else have control over you. So just bear that in mind the next time you want to feel flustered. So it's better to just kind of look for that inner peace, right? And it's totally okay to talk about stuff. Oh, the last month, Kayla? That's crazy. I really hope they figure out what's going on. That's scary. Yeah, Mary Beth, hello! Over on Facebook. How do I say your name? Yes, what? It's like kind of the same color as the background, so I'm trying to, it's ID2, yes. But congratulations on the 7,000 views, 150 subs. That's awesome. Good job. Oh, you're so welcome, Maddie. I'm happy to help. I like the theme to Survivor, the TV show. Oh, just plays in a loop, sad. I've been a follower of Castle for way too long to be offended. That's good. I mean, you know, like, we like to joke around. We're never trying to actually be mean or cruel or piss people off. We might stir the pot sometimes, you know, but we like to talk about things, and we absolutely have no problem with discourse. We even encourage it at times, because how else do we grow if we do not challenge our ways of thinking, right? So We love it. Some people don't, and that's okay. It'd be nice if they just moved along instead of trying to give people a bad experience. So, hello, Capitan. How are you doing? Hopefully you are feeling a little better. Capitan was not feeling very well earlier today. And we did just learn, Captain, that Kayla also suffers from crazy migraines, and she was in the hospital and has lost a month's worth of memory because she had a small seizure while she was at the hospital. Guys, it's scaring me. Far better to be pissed off than pissed on. I don't care. Somebody who wants to piss on me, I'm just gonna be like, I just don't care. I don't care. I'm sorry. Not sorry. I'm really not sorry. That's the truth of it. I don't have the energy to get bothered. So. Your nose is stuffy? Aw. Are the kiddos doing okay, or did they get sick and then get you sick? Thor is a redhead, yes. But not on TV or movies. Most of the time, no. Odin has more than one look. People need to get over it. Yeah. That's true. You're just happy to be here? I am happy that you're here too, Esther. We love that you're here. You woke up thinking you were at work. That was probably extra scary because you thought you fell asleep at work. Oh, thank you, CD. I appreciate that. Got a flatterer over here. I think I got everybody. Hello, Frost. Welcome in. Oh, did it read as a link? Yeah, whenever you put a period in there with no spaces, it's gonna show up as a link, even if it's not. So, gotta be careful with that punctuation. Okay, I think we have given enough time for everyone to trickle in here. So, like I said, Leodin has been asked by her brother to go to Shiduv, which is Aemon's fortress in the marshes. She's not looking forward to that, but she has had a premonition that Aemon's sister is in distress. That Aemon is likely cutting off the marriage between his sister and Leodin's brother Sean. So, in this vision, Aisling is so distressed that she throws herself from the fortress walls and perishes. So, there is some concern about that coming to fruition, so she is going to go there and see if she can get Aisling out of there and bring her back to Seven Waters. So that should be fun. You're gonna take some more meds? Okay. Alright. Yeah. Definitely make sure you're resting and doing anything that the doctors told you to do to be wary of what's going on with you right now. Okay. So, are we ready to get started, friends? Castle brought me water, and I'll probably take like 2 sips of it. I'm terrible. I know that. You don't have to tell me. Okay. Let us begin. I told the bleary-eyed nursemaid I was going out for the day and taking Johnny with me. In particular, I told her to explain, if anyone should ask, that I had taken an escort and gone on a short visit, and that I would be back in plenty of time to see my Uncle Liam laid to rest. I had no wish to be at home that day. I had business of my own. I had already perfected a method of transporting Johnny on my trips through the forest, and now I hoisted him onto my back, tied in a strong length of sacking, whose ends fastened over my shoulder and around my waist. He enjoyed this type of ride, which held him close to the warmth of my body, but allowed him to see the rocks and sky and the many colors and patterns of oak and ash, birch and hazel. When he was a man, I thought, as we made our way soft-footed down a leaf-strewn path my Uncle Connor had once shown me, he would bear the memory of these shapes and hues deep within. And like all children of Seven Waters, he would find it hard to be long away from the forest. I went quickly. If the sight were to be denied me, Now, when I most needed to see, I must seek out what information I could by whatever means I might find. And now that my mother was gone, there was only one person I could think of who would help me, without making any sort of judgment, without trying to tell me what I should do and what I should not. It began to rain lightly, but the great oaks sheltered us, and by the time I was scrambling up the banks of the 7th stream, where it tumbled down the rocky hillside into the calm waters of the lake, the clouds had thinned to let a weak sunlight through. Fiaha flew in short bursts, now ahead of us, now behind, keeping pace, keeping watch. There was no chance of getting cold. Covering this distance so quickly with Johnny on my back had made sure of that. And indeed I found I had to stop and catch my breath more than once. Perhaps the visitations of the sight had weakened me, or maybe my body was not as fully recovered as my son's birth as I had thought. Be strong, Leiden. You have to be strong. At last I came to the clustered rowans, again bright with autumn's fruit, and slipped in under the willows. There before me was the secret spring, the small round pool encircled by smooth stones, a place of deep quiet. I unfastened the cloth that held my son against my back. Johnny had fallen asleep, and I laid him down carefully in bracken under the trees. He did not stir. Fiaha settled on a branch nearby. Uncle. My mind was already reaching out as I went to sit on the stones by the water. I need your help. I'm here, Leiden. And he was. Standing on the other side, pale face, tangled dark hair, shapeless garments not quite concealing the white swathe of wing feathers. His expression was calm, and his eyes clear. My uncle Liam is dead, taken by a British arrow. I know this. Connor already makes his way to Seven Waters, but I will not go. Not this time. Uncle, I have seen some terrible visions. I saw Liam's death, and I did not warn them until it was too late. My brother said, I know. It is very hard. There is no way to escape this guilt, daughter. I have lived with it long years. Your brother will learn, as my own brothers did in time, that the sight cannot be controlled, that such warnings, if given, can reap a harvest far more bitter than that of the events left to their true course. Your brother is young. In time he will be as strong as Liam was, perhaps stronger. I nodded. I too see this, and I told him so. But I was shown another future, one in which Sean was old and quite alone. A future in which Seven Waters was empty, desolate. To change that pattern I would risk much. I would challenge those who shape our course, however strong they may be. Finbar gave a deep chuckle, startling me. Oh, Leiden, if my path had been different and I had been blessed with a daughter, I would have wished for just a one such as yourself. Do you not challenge the set ways of our lives at every turn? Now come, you wish for guidance, for a vision that shows true. I see it in your eyes, and I read your urgency there. You have wept long, and I believe I can guess why. My candle, my little flame in the darkness. I could not light it, though I tried and tried. And there has been no word, just a terrible silence. And now the visions have ceased, and I cannot see him. I cannot hear his voice. And I saw Aisling. I will help you. If truth is to be shown you, it must be here, among the ancient stones. Your child sleeps sound. There is time. Come, open your mind to mine, and let us look in the water together. So we sat on the stones, and felt that we were held safe. Come here. What are you doing? Just lurking underneath my chair. Do we have anybody else come in? I have a gift. Alright, thank you, Bear. I appreciate that. Come here. Please don't step on the keyboard. Nope, that's my coffee. Come here. Come here. Here you go. Here's Boo. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we sat on the stones and felt that we were held safe, as in the strong, supporting warmth of a mother's hands. Finbar was on one side of the pool, and I on the other. I let go the shields on my mind, and he did the same, and our thoughts blended and grew calm together. Time passed, perhaps a long time, perhaps not long at all, and only sounds were the small rustling of insects in the grass, and the high calling of birds overhead, and the wind sighing in the willows. The surface of the water rippled and changed. Something bright shone there, silver flashing in the dark. I caught my breath. A drinking flask, cunningly made, its surface richly patterned with an ornate convoluted design, its stopper fashioned of amber in the shape of a little cat, a vessel I had shared with the painted man on a day of death and rebirth. There was a hand reaching to pick up the flask, to remove the stopper. The man raised the flask to his lips to drink, and it was Eamon. The pool went dark again. Breathe slow, Leodin. Stay calm. My uncle sent me an image of still water, of beech leaves in spring sunlight, of a child sleeping. I willed my hammering heart to slow, my mind put fear aside. I looked in the water again. This time the images flowed one into another, and I thought their timing true. Aisling, lying face down on her bed, weeping and weeping until there were no tears left. A serving woman coming into the room with a tray of food and drink, taking away another such tray quite untouched. Locking the door, locking my friend in. Then abruptly we were downstairs in the great hall of Shidoof. It was night time, for torches burned around the walls and the stone beasts seemed ferocious, as the light flickered and played on their tiny malign features. Staring eyes, grasping claws, pointed teeth and fiery tongues. Now I could see 2 men were there. Eamon, seated in a carven oak chair, his glossy brown hair neat on his shoulders, his features composed. Only his eyes betrayed his excitement. And Bran, the far side of his face a mass of swollen bruising, a deep cut oozing over his eye, and a livid purple mark all around his neck, as if he had come close to death by strangling. There was a look of gloating triumph in Eamon's brown eyes. Knowing your penchant for the severing of the extremities, he observed smoothly. I've decided to start with the smallest finger and work my way gradually inward. Interesting to see how much pain a man can bear, but perhaps a black man does not feel it as we do. Bran's voice was quiet and level. I will not bargain for his safety, nor he for mine. Eamon gave a derisive laugh. I had not planned to allow room for negotiation. You gave me none when you butchered my men before my eyes. I thought only to keep you informed of your friend's progress. You're going to need something to occupy your mind where you're going. Oh yes, I have plans for you. The 2 of you will provide me with good entertainment before the end. I'm told you have a certain distaste for enclosed spaces, a reluctance to quench lights. Who'd have thought it? The painted man afraid of the dark. There was a brief silence. You disgust me, said Bran. You're a traitor just like your father. Did he not turn on his allies as you have done? They say he was despised and reviled on both sides of the water. No wonder Liam arranged his demise before he could do more harm. Heard that story, have you? It's a very public secret. Your own grandfather was party to it, as well as the dubious Hugh of Harrowfield. They thought to see you grow up a better man than your father. A futile hope, as it turned out. What price did you pay for the 2 of us, Eamon Duve? Don't use that name. Eamon rose and stepped toward his captive. He moved cautiously, as if constrained by some injury. There was, perhaps, a strapping around the ribs, concealed by his shirt. His hand came up and delivered a stinging blow hard across Bran's face. I saw that Bran's hands were tightly bound, and that his ankles were hobbled together, and that for all his apparent control this blow made him sway where he stood. Liam is dead, Eamon went on. There is a new master at Seven Waters, one who is young and untried. Their position is greatly weakened. Dead. How? Bran's eyes narrowed. This he clearly had not known. That need not concern you, for you will never leave here, outlaw. I will have my sport with you and the black savage you call friend, and then you will be disposed of. You'll simply vanish without a trace, Folk are saying you betrayed Seven Waters to the Britons. Later they will say Liam's people moved swiftly to avenge his loss and remove you permanently. Don't think to question my actions. What could a man such as yourself know of alliances and loyalties? Surely you could scarce comprehend the meaning of these terms. If I have no loyalties of my own, said Bran, never taking his eyes off Aemon's face, at least I have none to betray. He seemed to be thinking very hard indeed, as if trying to solve a puzzle. Adds in 4 minutes? Okay. Adds in 3 minutes. Aemon gave a little cough. What has occurred is unfortunate, but it may work to my advantage. What if my grandfather and the Oonagh learned that young Sean had made a bargain with the Painted Man? What if they learned his sister had lain with an outlaw, spread her legs for him under the bushes as they camped by the wayside? Stupid fly. The reputation of Seven Waters might not well recover from that. Bran held his voice level. In time you will regret these words. You may hold me captive now and believe me helpless, but each foul word you speak of her brings your death a little closer. You are foolish if you do not understand why I paid such a high price to have you within my grasp. From the time you killed my men, I marked you for death, but once I knew it was you who had taken Theoden from me. Once I knew it was your filthy hands that had touched her, I'd have paid a king's ransom. I wonder what her mother thought hearing on her deathbed that her daughter had thrown herself away on gutter scum. Once I knew the truth, it was only a matter of time for you. I would have paid whatever it took for the satisfaction of watching you suffer and die. Feeling a little faint, are you? Your man will be in pain tonight. The touch of hot iron on his fresh wound does sting. He never cried out, not once. Amazing fortitude. There was no response. Bran's eyes were remote, as if he had somehow distanced himself from where he was and what he heard. Aemon was pacing now. You don't like to hear me speak of Theoden or of the child, do you? That's odd, considering the way you treated her. Choose your words with care. Ha! And you trussed up like a roasting chicken, unable to shuffle a step without falling. A man who cannot endure a moonless night without a lantern by his side. A man who fears his own dreams. Your defiance amuses me, mongrel. I have warned you. You tread on thin ice when you speak of her before me. I'll speak however I want, miscreant. This is my home and my hall, and you are my prisoner. I'll tell you what I have long wished to tell you. You think you have some claim on the daughter of Seven Waters because you corrupted her, because you took advantage of her innocence and turned her against me. But she is not yours and never has been. If she told you that, she lied to you. A woman tells the truth only when it suits her. Theoden was promised to me long since, when we were no more than children, and she's a generous girl. I knew her body, every sweet part of it, before you ever laid your ugly hands on her. He paused for effect. Amusing, isn't it? There's really no telling if the child is yours or mine. There was complete silence, and now Bran could no longer keep the fury from his eyes or control his ragged breathing. Oh no, I whispered, and I caught Finbar's silent warning. Be still, Theoden, if you would not lose this image. You're lying, said Bran. His voice had lost its steadiness. Am I? I think you would find it difficult to prove this one way or the other. Where's your evidence? Bran took a deep breath and made an attempt to square his shoulders. It seemed to me there were other bruises there that were not visible. He looked Aemon straight in the eye. I need no evidence, he said quietly, his voice now under precarious control. Theoden would not lie to me. I would trust her with my life. You cannot poison what is between us with your foul words. She is my light in the darkness, and Johnny is my pathway ahead. Tears were streaming down my face as I watched Aemon summoning his guards, and Bran being dragged out of the hall. Get that mongrel out of my sight. Aemon's voice was cold. Put him in the dark where he belongs. Let him rot there. Then Aemon was alone, and his face was less than calm. He poured a tankard of ale and drained it, and hurled the empty cup across the room with such violence that the metal split on the stones of the hearth. "You'll swallow those words before I'm done with you," he whispered. Darkness spread across the surface of the pool. "Breathe deeply, Theoden." I felt the comforting calm of Finbar's thoughts as he wrapped my shuddering mind in his, showing me light on water, the bright flame of oaks in autumn raiment, the torch on my mother's little curragh, a candle burning, the rays of the afternoon sun shining on the sleeping form of my small son. Oh, we got an ad going. Do we have anybody without a subscription? Oh, Molly Sue. Molly Sue does not have a subscription. Alright, we can take a short break. Ugh. So, Painted Man is now in Aemon's grasp, which is not good. That means he's his prisoner and will likely die there. Flavors are us. Hello? Welcome in. You're alive, just woozy? Oh. I hope you're laying down, drinking water. We've got 50 seconds. And the ad will be over. You did not miss how he was caught. Right now, Theoden is seeing a vision. She's with her uncle Finbar. The one with the swan wing still. And he is helping her see a true vision. And what she has seen is that he is a captive of Aemon. We don't know what has happened or how or where that happened. So, to be determined. Head pats to Twitch. And thank you, Kayla, for the roses. We appreciate that. Please feel better. I hope that they can figure out what's going on with you. Okay, looks like the ad's done, so we can continue. We're almost done. Look, we are getting there. No, better. That was very hard. What will you do? There's no choice, I said aloud, rubbing my wet cheeks with my sleeve. Sean asked me to go there for Aisling. I must ride out straight away, and when I get there, I must. My mind shrank from the prospect. I could not tell Sean what I had seen. I could hear his voice now. Such a man cannot be trusted, who is ideally placed to pass his information straight to the Britons. Who would believe the word of the Painted Man over Aemon of the Marshes? Who would accept the shadowy visions of the sight as evidence? Sean had said, "You bear a portion of the blame for this, Leiden." I could not tell Sean. I longed for Father to be home. He would know what to do. But Father had not returned from Harrowfield, and there had been no word, and now there was no time. I would not seek help from Connor. I knew what he would say. That man has fulfilled his purpose. Don't waste your energy on him. The child is the key. What will you do? Finbar's clear gaze was compassionate. He did not offer any advice. Right now, I said, feed the child and change him. Oh, thank you, Bear, for gifting Molly Sue. That's very nice of you. And walk back to Seven Waters. In the morning I'll ride out for Shidoof and hope, when I get there, that I will know what comes next. Finbar nodded. I did wonder, he said. I did wonder. It is a long time since I dwelt in the world of alliances and strategies and betrayals, but it did seem to me that there was something unspoken here. Something I might use to my advantage if it was correct. Indeed. We had the same thought then. It is hard to believe Aemon capable of such treachery, I said. But in the back of my mind I saw the look in Aemon's eyes as I refused his offer of marriage. The look of a man who sees only what he wants to see. A man who cannot bear to be defeated. Hospitals give you anxiety? I completely understand that. Totally. Best tread carefully, Finbar said. I would help more if I could. Still, you have another world messenger already. He was looking at Fiacha, where he sat perched on a low branch of a rowan, close by where Johnny now stirred among the bracken. I have a messenger, yes. I bent to change Johnny's damp clothing. He was awake but quiet, for once not urgent for sustenance. It was as if the secrecy and serenity of this place had set its imprint even on his infant consciousness. A very powerful one. I need not ask who sent him to you. He came to Seven Waters, I said, knowing that Finbar was the one person to whom it was safe to speak of this. Ciaran, on the night of Mother's wake, he left the bird and he told me the truth about who he was. Uncle. What troubles you, Theoden? It was a terrible thing to do, not to tell us the truth as soon as it was known that my sister and Ciaran loved each other. At least if they had done that, Neve would have understood that Ciaran had not abandoned her without a thought. She could have held on to that in the dark times, and I might have come earlier to the understanding of the threat to my child. Is it Ciaran you fear, though he gave you this gift? I don't know. I don't know if he is friend or foe. Ciaran said. He said his mother offered him power, that she was waiting for him to make a choice. He was very angry. I shivered. Angry and bitter. Finbar nodded slowly. He's young yet, but his years of discipline must count for something. Connor would say it will unfold as it must. Exactly what Ciaran said. Like father and son. That's the pity of it. There was good reason our silence, Leoden. Both then and earlier, when the child was brought back to the forest. None of us wished to see our half-brother raised by Lady Oonagh, and turned into a weapon for our destruction. Connor sought to strengthen the boy against these influences, but the old evil is very strong. Oonagh is but one of its tools. Perhaps there is a darkness within Ciaran's spirit that must always come forth, despite him, to wreak havoc among his mother's enemies. What happened was not simply chance. Each of us recognized that the thing we thought we had defeated was again alive and among us, and we doubted our strength to combat its power. Each of us felt the same terror, the awakening of a fear such as we had known but once before in our lives. To many folk, the evil thing Oonagh did to the children of Seven Waters has become the stuff of legend, an oddity from some magical tale of long ago. Yet I need but close my eyes to see her standing there before me, laughing in my face, her hair a dark flame and her eyes like poison berries, to feel my beginning to change, to tremble with terror as my human consciousness slips away from me. I will never be the same. Bless you? Bless you. You're good. And what happened to Neve and to Ciaran? I saw again Lady Unagh's cruelty and my sister's pain. The work the sorceress wrought that day is lifelong. The fear, the guilt, the hurt of it are with us for all our days. How could one begin to share this burden with a son or daughter? How can one bear the grief of seeing it begin to blight our strong young lives? Perhaps we are denied the truth, even to ourselves. You saw my vision. If I do not go to help him, Bran will die, and others too. And that will truly be a triumph for the powers of evil. But I'm afraid. Not for myself, but for Johnny. The fair folk warned me not to take him away. And there's the prophecy. Mother would not have wished me to go against that. You are strong, but what you attempt will be perilous, make no doubt of it. I don't feel strong right now. I put my son to the breast and willed my breathing slower. I feel powerless and afraid. I fear that I will be too late. There was a silence, then the voice of Finbar's mind unusually tentative. I believe I will not see you for some time, Theoden. Do not forget me. For my future is bound up with this child's. I have seen this. It's important, my dear. Don't forget. There will be many distractions. I won't forget. And I thank you for your help. You have a great skill keeping these visions under control. I'm holding the terrors of the mind in check. Your skill, too, is considerable, and you are learning to harness it. You are indeed a remarkable young woman. Your man spoke true when he called you a light in the darkness. Ah, now you weep again. But shed these tears now, for after today you will have no time for weeping. That was the end of chapter 13. Blessings. I'm sure he appreciates that. Esther got a new laptop for gaming. You're looking for games that are thought-provoking? Or intellectually stimulating, quirky, dark, and thought-provoking. If you're aware of any games that meet these criteria, I would be grateful for your recommendations. Hello, Milu. Well, I had ended early last week because it was very long and my throat was dying, so I stopped, remember? So, we will move on to chapter 14. But yeah, if anybody has some intellectually stimulating games you can recommend for Esther, she would appreciate that. Okay. Of course, Esther. I hope you find something that you like. I don't know if I have anything intellectually stimulating to offer. Do you know of any?
Intellectually stimulating games? Like
Yeah.
puzzle games, or what does she prefer?
She said intellectually stimulating, quirky, dark, and thought-provoking. Kind of depends, like...
I mean, so the first thing comes to my mind when somebody says that is something like Hollow Knight, right? Because it's quirky, it's dark, it's thought-provoking. Because there's a lot of undertold things in the story, but it's also very difficult, and a lot of people are so busy being killed that they don't get to experience the story.
Yeah, because it's not very story-driven.
No, it's story. So you have to find the story.
Yeah.
But to me, that's why I like the Dark Souls games.
So, like, I enjoy the campaign for Red Dead Redemption 2. I like Cyberpunk 2077. I like story in games. Hollow Knight, is it hard to play? Yes, it is.
It's very hard to play.
It's very hard to play. But you could always find somebody who's playing it on Twitch to get an idea of what the game is like before you go for it. Prim and Whatever Land? I don't think I've heard of either of those. Oh, you know what's good, Esther, is I'm brain farting. What's that really pretty one that I liked? Grease. Gris. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah.
So it's
G-R-I with an O, with a accent. S.
okay.
Gris.
That one was really good. And it usually goes on sale quite frequently because they put out a new game recently. But that one was really good. It's actually an expression of somebody who's in a deep depression. And so it's really interesting how they incorporated that with the visuals and what you do throughout the game, because just looking at it, you might not really get that, but that's what it is. Yes. That's what it is. Gris. It was very pretty, and it's very affordable too. So
Thomas Was Alone is one I would recommend too. It's not super complex.
Thomas is alone?
Thomas was alone.
Thomas was alone.
Because he doesn't stay alone.
I haven't played that.
You haven't. It's a very simple game. You can usually get it for $2.
A couple dollars.
But
okay.
But the narrator, the story itself is.
Does it
great.
take a lot of memory? No.
No, neither one of them do.
Neither one of those do. I'm not sure how long Grease is, but it's a platformer. And they use vector art in it, so I'd imagine that the size is not very large at all. And it's very pretty. My husband is suggesting Ori. That is very cute.
Ori,
That would definitely be a larger file.
and Ori is difficult.
And Ori is difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's also a good one. If you don't mind it being difficult. So.
Yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest is brilliant, but it is
It's difficult.
not quite as difficult as Hollow Knight, but it's up there. Like, especially in the later levels, some of the puzzle solving is a pain in the ass, timing, platforming, and it is rough.
Love that. Love that.
Great game, beautiful game, very very cute, but it's got its issues.
Yeah. All right. We can continue with chapter 14. My poor book. I need a new copy of this because it's like, look how damaged that is. It was in storage and the storage container got infected with mold, so a lot of my books got ruined. It's very sad. Okay. Well, Greece would probably be fine. I would say for any 3D games, just look up the specs that they recommend. It is really sad. I cannot tell you how devastated I was. Anybody that's been here for a while know that we love our books so much, and I love my books so much. Like, because this is, you know, the first publication of it. So it's probably not super easy to find this copy anymore with this artwork. Like, they have newer publications, and I do not like the covers for the new publications. I'm going to just go ahead and say that. It's terrible. I do look my books and reading. Yeah, I love them. So a lot of them got damaged. Some of them I had to toss. Like, there was just nothing I could do. And then for a lot of them, like this one, because I just couldn't bear to part with it, I put it out in the sun for a few days to dry out the mold, and then I stuck it in a tub with some baking soda. Yeah, Thrift Books is a good place, except that you're not guaranteed to get the version of the book that you see in the photo. So some of them I won't really care, but like ones like these, if I'm going to replace it, like I want this one. You know what I mean? So that's the only caveat there. But I like Thrift Books, and I like World of Books, and there's another one. Ollie Books? Maybe? No. It's like, it's somebody's name, and it begins with an A. But it's also a used book platform, so. Okay, we can move on. So that was my little rant about my books. Something. Oh, okay. Only a few of his books got ruined. Okay, that's good, because it's a bummer when, because like the mold doesn't ever go away. The mold is dried out, but if any kind of moisture gets to it, it'll grow again. To like, get mold out of books, it's way too expensive. I can probably, all books go to Brook Hall. Wow, you're silly. That's funny. Okay, all right, I'm moving on. We'll be here all night if I don't continue. It would be a long ride. Once before, Sean had covered the distance in less than a day, hastening through the dark to answer my urgent call for help. But with a baby, there would be a need for stops along the way, to feed him and let him rest, and I myself would tire more quickly, bearing him on my back as I rode. A cart was unthinkable, too slow, and too hard to maneuver and to defend on the narrow ways. We had laid Liam to rest at dusk, under the great oaks of Seven Waters. Discreet messages had been sent. Connor was coming, but he had been away and could not reach us in time. Podrick had moved on from Seamus Redbeard's home at Glencarna. Perhaps he was already embarked on some new voyage to distant lands. His visits were rare. He had never wanted a part in the guardianship of lands and community, but it was sad that no brothers, no sisters stood there in the fading light under the ancient trees to bid this stern chieftain farewell. We made a fire and burned wolfbane and pine needles. Sean spoke of our uncle's strength and courage, I of his dedication to family and Tuath. The people of household and settlement stood by silent. It was a somber departure for such a great man. In time, perhaps, we would be able to celebrate his life and his passing with the gathering of folk, the feasting and music he deserved. But not yet. These were dangerous times, and the news of his sudden death could not be spread indiscriminately abroad. Afterward, we took a quiet cup of ale in the kitchens around the fire. Outside, through the night air, a terrible sound rang forth, a howling of grief and abandonment that echoed the emptiness in our own hearts. Its lament went on until my head rang with it, and I could not keep back my tears. Then Sean got up and went to the door, and looking out into the darkness, he called, "Nessa, Brock, enough now, inside the pair of you." And after a while, the howling ceased, and my uncle's 2 wolfhounds came in from the dark, their whiskery heads lowered, and their tails between their legs. Sean sat down again, and the dogs went to him and settled, one on his left and one on his right. It was at this moment, I think, that my brother became Lord of Seven Waters. Johnny and I were ready at dawn, and Sean stood on the steps to bid us farewell. I rode the strange small horse that had once belonged to the painted man, and it seemed to me she showed an eagerness to be off. And that was more than just the anticipation of exercise and fresh air. Yaha waited on a post nearby, his head to one side. Watching him, the horses shifted uneasily. "I'm grateful for this, Theoden," said my brother gruffly. "Bring her back here if you can, and tell Eamon I need to talk to him. He'll have to break the news of Liam's death. After that, he must surely see the urgent need for another council. The Alliance must regroup, and swiftly. I must establish my own place, make it clear I am my own man. Ask him if he will come here and see me. But first, make sure Aisling is safe. I'll do what I can. Now we must go. It's a long way. Farewell, Sean. May the goddess light your path. Safe journey, Theoden." A day and a night, and a part of the next morning it took, and every step of the way I was willing the pace to be faster, and gritting my teeth every time my son woke and wailed, and we must stop yet again to tend to his needs. I bit back words of frustration, as my men-at-arms told me Lord Sean had insisted we stop to sleep, for a while at least, and that they prepare me a proper meal. A lady could not be expected to travel rough as a warrior might. So they set up a small shelter for me and the child, and stood guard while I lay there, open-eyed in the night, watching small clouds cross the face of the waning moon. And on the morning of the second day, we rode across the causeway to Shidoof, with Fiacha flying dark-winged above us. We had passed the outer guard posts with no great difficulty. The men there knew me and recognized my men-at-arms, who wore the white tunic of Seven Waters with its symbol of interlinked torques. They led us through with no more than a raised eyebrow as Fiacha circled, squawking. Nor were we turned back at the entry to the causeway. But one of the guards shook his head doubtfully and said, "You'll not be given admittance. He's letting nobody in, and he'll make no exceptions, not even for a lady." There was something in his tone that suggested he was not entirely comfortable with the situation, but clearly they had their orders. So we crossed to the inner gate, the entrance to the long, curving underground way that led up to the courtyard with its high, encircling walls. As before, there were 2 very large guards with axes in their hands, and 2 massive black dogs growling. "Identify yourselves." The guards stepped forward, and the dogs pulled their chains taut. "The Lady Leoden of Seven Waters, come to see the daughter of the house," said the leader. Oh, I thought that was going to be Leoden. It's our guard. They are brought there by Valka books. Oh my god, Maddie, stop it. We got the dad jokes down. Alright. We're all of that household, and I am amazed that you fail to recognize us, Garvin. It being less than a season since last we shared a jug of ale in this very hall. Open your gates for us, The lady has come a long way and is weary. There's no admittance and no exceptions. I'm not sure you understand. My man's voice was confident. His hand hovered by his sword hilt. The lady has come to visit her friend. She has a small child with her, as you see. This is the sister of Sean of Seven Waters. If there is any doubt, please send word to the Lady Aisling. I am certain she will welcome our party. There are no exceptions. Lord Aemon's orders. Now take yourselves off before I loose the dogs. The dogs appeared all too keen to be loosed, as Fiaha began to swoop down toward them, just beyond reach of their snapping jaws, and fly upward again to repeat the maneuver, accompanied by derisive croaks of challenge. Johnny awoke and began to cry. I edged my horse a little forward. Leave this to me, I told my men. I attempted the sort of tone Liam might have employed. Fetch Lord Aemon, I said. He will see me. Tell him Theoden is here and must speak with him. Tell him I have information for him that is important, and that I will not take no for an answer. I don't rightly know, my lady. Lord Aemon's not to be disturbed, and he did say no exceptions. Fiaha flew past, so near the man's face that the lethal beak came close to taking an eye out. Tell him. Yes, my lady. We waited. Aemon did not come down, but after a while the guard returned, and the chain was unfastened, and the gates unlocked. And we rode past the slavering dogs and up the long, curving way to the courtyard. There were many, many guards all the way up. Enough guards, I thought grimly, to secure the most difficult of prisoners. In my heart, I knew Bran must be here somewhere. He must be still alive and able to attempt an escape. Or why maintain such a presence of armed men? When we emerged into the light, the courtyard was bristling with them, and outside the entrance to the house was Aemon, looking stern and distant. He stepped over to help me dismount. Johnny was wailing, and the bird added his own distinctive voice to the din. Theoden, frowned Aemon. What are you doing here? What sort of welcome is that for a friend? I asked him. We are weary, and I must tend to the child. Why have you come here? My men-at-arms had dismounted and were listening. I have news for you, Aemon. Very important news, which must be passed on in private. And I need to see Aisling. Perhaps you might provide my men with some ale, and me with a quiet place to do what is needed for the child. Then, when it is convenient, I'd like to speak with you alone. As he turned to give orders and to clear the small crowd that had gathered, I saw that he did indeed move somewhat warily, like a man not quite recovered from a serious injury, such as a knife thrust. A serving woman came to usher me indoors and find me a quiet corner to change and feed my son. Food and drink were brought on a tray. There was no sign of Aisling, and I did not ask. Time passed. Johnny had his meal and was quiet, and the sun moved overhead outside the narrow windows. The serving woman returned with two others, clucking and admiring the child and offering to take him for a while, so I could rest. I'd like to see Aisling, I said. Is she here? My lady's not well. I shouldn't think she'll see anyone, said the oldest of the women, who was holding Johnny in her arms. Maybe I could help, I ventured. I have skills in healing. What seems to be the trouble? Best ask Lord Aemon. But best ask him. Reluctantly, I let them bear Johnny away to the kitchens, for he seemed content in their company, and I was indeed weary, and at something of a loss. Fiaha flew over them, much to the woman's alarm. With such a guard, I reasoned my son would be safe enough for now. I looked out of the window, down into the courtyard, straining for a sight of anything unusual, anything to suggest there were indeed some very special prisoners in this fortress. But apart from the presence of so many armed men, all seemed quite unremarkable. At last Aemon sent for me. He was in the hall, seated on his oak chair, and once the servant was dismissed, we were alone. Well, Theoden, please take a seat. A cup of wine, perhaps? This comes all the way from America. Oh my god, where is this fly coming from? Get out of here. Where are the cats when I need them? This is helpful for me. My boyfriend and I are on a break, and it is the second day. Thank you. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Haley. I hope that you can take some comfort in listening to a good story. Maddie, you're an innocent goblin. You know that's a lie. It's sex when books grow legs. No. That would be devastating. If books had legs and ran away, I would cry. Alright. I lost my spot. Got a little distracted. It's rather fine. I did not expect such a visit. This is not a good time. Such news has no good time. My Uncle Liam is dead, slain by the Britons on the way to his meeting with Oonagh. Someone betrayed us, and the alliance is much weakened. Sean bid me bring you these tidings myself, and ask if I might take Aisling back with me, for he needs her support, and he wants to speak with you urgently. I see. His look of shocked concern seemed entirely genuine. This is grave indeed. When did this happen? A few days ago. Sean wants it kept quiet for obvious reasons. We sent word to your father, to your grandfather, and I have come to tell you. Beyond that it is not known, but once Northwoods chooses to make his coup public, then the enemies of the Alliance may seek to move against us. He raised his brows. I did not think you so knowledgeable in strategies and dealings, Theoden. I'm learning fast, I said. Aisling cannot go to Seven Waters. She is indisposed. May I see her? If she is ill, I can help. Not this time. I'm afraid you will not be able to see her, and she most certainly cannot travel. Then she must be gravely ill. I'm a healer, Aemon. You should let me tend to her. Aisling is my friend, and my brother's betrothed. You should let me help her if I can. You will not remain here long enough to help. I can have no guests in the house. Aisling will recover well enough without your assistance. She has simply been obstinate, and has made herself ill. You cannot see her. I did not reply. The conversation was like some sort of game. A small risk here, a small game there. It was hard to make strategic moves when one did not know the rules. Tell Sean that Aisling is unable to make the journey, he said. Convey my sympathy to him for his loss. He rose as if to leave, and there was another awkward silence. You will need a night's rest, I suppose, before riding home. I am surprised you brought your child with you all this way, Theoden. Still, he appears to have weathered it well enough. You'll find that gutter scum have a surprising inner strength, I said quietly. A capacity for endurance beyond the ordinary. He took a moment to react. What did you say? I'm here to trade with you, Aemon. I have come to buy your prisoners. I had thought him pale, but this turned his face white as a dead man's mask. I see, he said carefully. Does your brother know of this escapade? Sean is not aware of my intentions, I said, my heart beginning to thump. But he knows I am here, and expects me home promptly, with or without Aisling. And just exactly what prisoners did you have in mind? There's no need to play games with me, Aemon. I mean the Painted Man, and another of his band whom you hold captive. I am here to deal with you for their release into my hands, and our safe passage out of Shidoof. Deal? How deal? A bargain. I'm sure you have made many before. He rose and began to pace to and fro, to and fro. You amaze me, Theoden. Even after what has happened, even after all that has passed between us, I still believed you capable of some sound judgment. That man is evil, a scourge. He should never be let loose again, and he will not be. Now tell me, he stopped right before me, and put his hands on my shoulders, and I breathed deep, willing myself not to flinch away. How could you know he was here? How could you discover such a thing? Nobody knew. At least you do not pretend that he is not your captive. I suppose your sense of pride prevents that. The source of my information is confidential. But at least one other of the family of Seven Waters knows what I know, and will reveal it if harm comes to me. Harm? Why should I harm you? You are no threat to me, and besides, no. Let me avoid sentimentality. I'll put it to you plainly, Leodin. Nobody cares if this man lives or dies. You could tell the world I held him prisoner, tortured and beat him, intended to execute him. There's not a single soul would raise a finger to help him. He is an outcast beyond hope. You're wrong, I said softly. You're so wrong. Such a man can command great loyalty, as you will discover to your cost. Ha! The loyalty of other wretches like himself, and misguided girls who find a perverse excitement in the arms of a monster of depravity. I cannot believe you gave yourself to him when I could have had you. I'm sorry you cannot believe that, Eamon, for it has filled your whole mind with bitterness until you cannot rightly see what you are doing, or why. This hatred is eating you up, so that you injure your family and friends, and set a dark curse on your own future. It is not too late for you to retreat, not quite. If you had accepted me, my path would have been different, he said bleakly. If you dislike what I have become, you have only yourself to blame. Your actions are your own, I said, holding back my anger. Your choices are your own. Each of us carries a burden of guilt for decisions made or not made. I saw a little image of my Uncle Liam, lying on the track with an arrow in his chest. You can let that rule your whole life, or you can put it behind you and move on. Only a madman lets jealousy determine the course of his existence. Only a weak man blames others for his own errors. Now, will you deal with me? I cannot imagine what you think you can offer me, he said stiffly. But I suppose a woman always has one service she can provide for a man. And there was a time not long ago when I might have paid much to possess your body. I would have paid with my pride and my reputation and everything I own, but not now. Not now that I have him in my grasp. Watching him suffer is worth infinitely more to me than a night in your bed. Though it would be interesting doing it just to make him squirm. Unfortunately, he's past that now. What do you mean? I could not prevent my voice from shaking, and I thought he was aware of my alarm. Oh, I see, Esther. I will... Esther says thank you for recommending Greece.
What you recommended?
Yeah.
Well,
We both
from
did.
you.
We both did. Alright, good night, Capitan. I hope you feel better. Get lots of rest. Sleep well. Okay. Did you know your outlaw hero is afraid of the dark? Did you know he turns to jelly if he's shut in too long? I found that out. Took me a lot of digging to discover it. He keeps his secrets well. You'll find him not quite as you left him, I fear. As for the other one, he's looking quite untidy. Breathe, Theoden. I think you misunderstand what I mean when I say bargain, I told him, taking a sip of my wine just so my hands had something to do, to still their shaking. It is not so much a matter of what I can offer in return for their freedom. It is more a case of what you are prepared to give in order to buy my silence. Silence? What silence? What do you mean? I have information that could be very damaging to you, Aemon. Information that, should it reach the ears of my brother, or of Seamus, would cut you from the alliance and cause you to be looking over your shoulder for a man with a knife for the rest of your days. Imagine that. Should become known to the O'Neill, would ensure you never sat at the council table with them again. And your lands are awkwardly placed, right in the path of traffic out of Tyrconnell. You should listen to me. I don't believe what I'm hearing. He sat down again, staring at me. How could you possibly have any information that your brother does not already know? A girl at home with a child, shut away in the heart of the forest. This is nothing but a bluff. A bluff. All right. Let's try some detail. And do not forget, the band of the Painted Man is privy to many secrets, and has an ear in many camps. My sources of news may be different from Sean's, but they are every bit as accurate. Go on, he said in a frozen voice. At that point, a man entered with a tray on which he bore another flask of wine, and a platter with bread and cheese and sliced meats. He set this on the table, and Eamon dismissed him with a jerk of the head. When the man was gone, he went to the door and slid the bolts closed. All right, he said. What information? The sun slanted in the windows. It was past midday. 2 whole days since I had seen that vision of Bran being dragged from this hall. Since I had heard Eamon saying, put the mongrel in the dark. Now was the moment when I must hazard all on a guess. Must hope that Finbar and I had stumbled on the truth. I know the price you paid northwards, I said with hard-won steadiness. I know it was the information you gave our enemy that caused my uncle's death. You betrayed the alliance, Eamon. You sacrificed Liam for the sake of your own twisted desire for vengeance, because of jealous rage. And I will tell Sean and Seamus unless you give me what I want. This is outrageous. His voice shook with shocked fury. You can have no proof of this. I cannot imagine how you might have concocted such a tale, or who would believe it if you told it. I have proof. A witness of great credibility who knows the exact purpose of my visit here. If you refuse me, your secret will be known, whether I return home safely or not. You'll be finished, Eamon. He was silent for a while. What guarantee can you give me that this information will not become public, even if I agree to your ridiculous request? He asked, and a small flame of hope began to burn inside me. You might get what you want and still tell. What undertaking can you give that others will remain silent? You know me better than that, I said. Once, not so long ago, you told me I was the only woman you would ever take for your wife. Or words to that effect. I think you meant it at the time. Now I see you have lost any respect you ever had for me. But once we were friends. If I give you my word, I'll keep it. I will ensure the silence of others. But I will not put my brother at risk. I will remain silent only as long as you honor our agreement. I can't believe this. It is as if you have turned into some monster, like the man you protect. You'd better tell me your terms. Ah, no, I thought. It is you who are become a monster. A man who will betray and torture and murder, for no reason more than jealous obsession. You, who I might once have wed. Very well, I said. You will respect the alliance. You will honor your commitment to my brother in the future, and be honest with him and share your defenses as you did with Liam. And that's the long-term agreement. The instant you break it, I tell them. And what about the short term? First, you fetch Aisling here. My men-at-arms will take her back to Seven Waters, now, this afternoon. She will remain there until spring, until she and Sean are married. She will not return here. You will attend the wedding, and smile, and give them your blessing. Aisling is unwell. She cannot travel. I'll be the judge of that. I think she will go. My men know how to convey a lady across country and look after her. You speak as if you do not intend to accompany her. What is the rest of this demonic bargain lead in? Yep, agreed, Teresa. That's okay, Esther. I will remain here until Aisling is safely away from Shidoof. It should not take long. Then you will release these 2 prisoners. You will provide the three of us and my son with safe conduct to your borders." He gave a hollow laugh. "You must indeed think me weak. I think you have enough common sense left to know when you are backed into a corner," I said carefully. "Will you do as I ask?" "You give me very little choice. But I am not entirely without pride, though you seek to humiliate me at every turn. I will let Aisling go. I would be a fool not to agree or to refuse the first part of the bargain. I wonder if you will tire of watching me year by year, to see if I stumble. That could grow tedious. I am the daughter of 7 waters. My brother deserves my loyalty and my support, and he will have them both. Our family understands the importance of this, if yours does not. You should perhaps restrain your tongue. I have not yet agreed to the other part of this bargain. The deal is all or nothing. If you will not release the prisoners, I will make no agreement. I need time. You cannot have time. If I wished to do so, I could give my brother this news right now, while you watched. I could open my mind to his, and I could tell him. If you tried to harm me, he would know immediately. I would not hesitate. A pox on you, Leodin. Curse you and your sorceress's ways. Will you release these men? It was becoming harder and harder to keep control. Very well, he said suddenly. Take your wretched lover and his bizarre companion. See what use they are to you after their brief but eventful sojourn in my custody. But there can be no safe conduct. There's not a man in my garrison nor anywhere in my lands who would convey the painted man to the border without sticking a knife in his back. Once outside these walls, you're on your own. You're saying you will let us go so that your archers may shoot us down before we set foot on the road. That won't do. I need better than that. Do you want me to talk to my brother? Shall I call to him? No. We'll play a little game, I think. When Aisling is gone, if she is able to go, I'll set you a task of hide and seek. First you find your outlaw, then you get him out. We'll help with that, or you'll be all night at it. There'll be no foot on the road. Let him go out the way he once came in, over the marshes. Don't they say no mission is beyond him? That should be easy, then. Across the hidden way with a woman and a small child and a man without the full use of his hands. Simple, I should think. You'll see what sort of a hero he is then. We might perhaps set you a time to achieve this. You'll need to be gone by dusk, I think. After that, we'll come down with torches and start shooting again. My men don't get much excitement these days. That is evil, I whispered, staring at him. Was this the man with whom I had once danced at Imbolc? A man I had once considered a good choice for a husband? If I had been able to teach him to smile. Was it indeed I who had changed him so completely, simply by saying no? My heart was cold. Is not this bargain on my terms? Not quite. You might decide to tell your secret now. Try to convince your brother of what you know at a distance. You might do it and destroy my life. But as soon as you took that step, the painted man would die. You would not save him that way. And your brother cares nothing for the outlaw. He is merely another piece on the board to be won or lost. I ran my tongue over my lips, suddenly parched. Very well. We have reached agreement. Now send for Aisling. You will not speak to my sister of this. That much must be understood. It's understood, Aemon. Now send for her, and for my men-at-arms. Hey Tyson, how you doing? He's usually Castle or I are lurking you or Milu while we're working using the same account. Okay. Aisling looked sick and wretched. Her small, freckled face was ashen white, and I could see the bones beneath the skin. Her eyes were purple and swollen, and her curling red hair unkempt. "Leiden," she whispered, heedless of her brother's grim looks and of the 6 men-at-arms waiting in the hall. "Oh, Leiden, you came. Where's Sean?" "Waiting for you at 7 Waters," I said calmly, though I could have wept to see the state my friend was in. "Your brother has given you permission to go. These men will see you safely there. I've asked the women to pack you a little bag, and your horse is ready. You'll leave right away." "Oh, Leiden, thank you. Oh, thank you, Eamon." It was just as well, I thought, that she was at such an extreme amount of distress and exhaustion that it did not occur to her to ask any questions. No doubt they would come to her later when she was already on her way. "My lady," the leader of my guards was frowning with concern. "These are your orders," I told him firmly. "Leave now, straight away. Make your way back to 7 Waters as quickly as you can. But remember that Lady Aisling has been ill, and will need to rest as I did. Tell my brother I will come later." "Our orders were to guard you." He sounded doubtful. "If we depart, you have no safe conduct." "Lord Eamon can provide what protection I need," I said. "I will remain here a while longer. Tell my brother Lord Eamon will be in touch. Now go, and you should be there by dusk tomorrow." "Very well, my lady." I climbed the steps to the place where the sentries paced. I looked out over the causeway and the long, straight track that was the only safe way out of Shidouv. I stood there watching, until Aisling's auburn hair and the leather helms of the men-at-arms had vanished into the distance. Then I went to the kitchens and reclaimed my son and fed him. I bound him to my back again, ready for travel. Out in the courtyard, Eamon was waiting. "I thought I'd watch this game," he said, "but I find I haven't the stomach for it. Don't worry, my guards have instructions to let you wander about. If you need keys or a strong man to loosen a bolt or two, just ask and they'll help you. But you enjoy this kind of thing, don't you, Leiden? I'm told you prowled about the place like a cat in heat the last time you were here. Off you go, then. There's not so long till dusk after all. Oh, and do something about that bird of yours, will you? If it swoops down on my guards just one more time, its next appearance will be on the supper table, neatly enclosed in pie crust." We had walked around the courtyard as he spoke, and Fiaha flew over our heads to alight on the shafts of an empty cart that stood there. "Off you go, then," Eamon repeated as if dismissing a troublesome child. I had no doubt where his search must be undertaken, and I feared what it might reveal. I made a rapid decision and looked direct into Fiaha's bright, knowing eye. "Go," I told him. "Fetch help. Go now, I need help before dusk." He was gone, swift as an arrow from the bow, and a dark streak soaring into the sky and away southward, ever southward. Then I picked up my skirts and walked down into the underground way, forward into the shadows. It was difficult for the guards, I think. They had their orders, and they would obey them. Still, they glanced at one another and muttered among themselves as I searched their underground domain, through one dark cell after another, gritting my teeth to keep back the tears, trying to still my drumming heart and quiet my breathing as I blundered into empty room after empty room. "Where are they?" I demanded. "Tell me!" But they shuffled their boots and kept their mouths shut. The painted man could expect nothing from Eamon's folk, save fear and loathing. Behind the small cells I already knew of, there was an iron-bolted door. I asked for assistance, and a big gray-haired man with muscles like heavy knotted cords came forward to open it for me. There were strange steps leading downward. "I need a lantern." Johnny was wriggling on my back, now tired of the restriction to his movements. Having so recently learned to get about on his own, he was eager for fresh explorations and new adventures. I would not think of Johnny and the path across the swamp. I would think only of what came next, right now. Lord Amon said nothing about lanterns. I need a light. It's pitch black down there. I could fall and break the child's neck. Would you take that story back to your wife tonight? Nobody moved. Grimly, I gathered my skirts and went forward down the steps. 1, 2. It was so dark I could not see my hand before my face. Alright, we got ads in a few minutes. Here, my lady. Light flickered on the stone walls. The gray-haired guard was on the step behind me, a small lantern in his hand. I reached out for it. I'll bear it for you. You take care of the child. These steps are old and uneven. There were 10 steps, and a narrow passageway deep under the earth. It was very quiet. If rats or beetles made their home in this buried place, there was no sign of it. The dim light revealed iron rings, bolted to the cobweb-shrouded walls. At the end of the passage, another door. More of a grill, fastened with a loop of heavy chain. The place was airless, stifling. My lady. The guard spoke under his breath awkwardly. These men are outlaws, scarce worth the trouble of tossing on the midden. You should leave this and save yourself and the child. You'll never get away across the marshes. Try it and you're as good as dead, and your babe with you. Give it up. We'd see you got home safe. None of us wants this on his conscience. Give me the key, I said. He put it into my hand without another word. Beyond the grilled door was another small space, and there I found Gull. Hello, Mindy, over on Facebook. Welcome in. You think everyone has a subscription on Twitch? Okay. Alright then. I can just continue. I heard his breathing just before the light revealed his dark features. Now sickly gray, his staring eyes bright with fever, his clothing ripped and stained. His wrists were locked in iron shackles above his head, so that he could not move from where he was held, sagging against his restraints. Filthy, blood-stained rags were roughly wrapped around his hands. I moved forward, clenching my teeth. Unfasten this man's hands and be quick about it. Theoden, Gull croaked, as the guard reached up to the shackles. Then he sucked in his breath as his wrists were suddenly released, and his arms fell by his sides as if there were no life left in them. You'll be in a lot of pain while the feeling comes back, I said, as he sank to the floor with a wheeze of agony. But there's no time. We must get out of here. Where's Bran? Where's the chief? Gull moved his head from side to side weakly, to indicate that he did not know. You must know. Somebody must know. We have only till dusk to get away from here. Can walk. Can go. Gull struggled to get on all fours, then his knees, then stood up, swaying. Ready to go. That's good, Gull. That's very good. See if you can put your arm around my shoulders. Watch out for the boy. That's it. I'll help you. I turned to the guard. Tell me where he is. Please tell me. Would you see all of us die before the sun sets? But the man was silent, his eyes chill as he watched Gull's staggering, shivering efforts to walk. The air was thick and close around us, and each breath was a struggle. Johnny whimpered. If we left now, there would still be some daylight left. If we left now, there would be a chance to get out of sight before dusk. I might search and search until it was indeed too late and still not find him. Put the mongrel back in the dark where he belongs. Best to go back up, muttered the guard. Not yet, I said. Stand still, keep quiet. For it was there, a small cry in the darkness, a feeling of dread, a summoning of will to endure what was beyond endurance. Where are you? I could not tell if it was my own imagination that conjured it, or if I truly heard the cry of that lost child who had haunted my thoughts since I first began to learn the truth about the painted man. The voice of my mind whispered into the darkness. I'm here. Stretch up your hand. Silence. Helpless, shivering silence. Reach out your hand to me, Johnny. I will help you. Show me where you are. It was not my son to whom I spoke, but my son, now blessedly silent, held warm and safe against me. Gull leaned over my shoulder, and I felt the trembling control he exercised over his damaged body to remain upright, to quiet his breathing so that I could listen. Where are you? Give me your hand. Reach up just a little farther. There was no sound, not that I could hear. Not in the outer world, nor in the shadowy realm of the mind, but I knew. Suddenly I knew. I walked out through the grilled door, with Gull stumbling beside me, and the guard following with the lantern and a scowl on his face. Halfway along the dim, subterranean passage, I halted. You could hardly see it. It was very neatly fashioned, flush with the floor. The only signs of its existence the faint line around the edges, and a small depression in the stone where the trapdoor might be lifted. Eamon's ancestor had indeed possessed an unusual and inventive mind. Open this trapdoor. It's not a job for a man on his own. Open it, curse you! Fetch another man if you need one, and hurry! They were slow, painfully slow, as I waited, shivering. Hold on, I told him. I'm here, not long now. The trapdoor was heavy. A solid slab of rock, a handspan thick. The mechanism seemed finely tuned and expertly maintained, but it took all the strength of the two guards to lift it. At last it stood open. Give me the lantern, I said, and they put it into my hand. I placed it on the edge of the rectangular opening in the floor and looked in. It was a small enough space, just big enough to take a man who was not particularly tall, if his knees were doubled up to his chin and his arms bent over his head. Sounds lovely. I get claustrophobic, so I would probably lose my mind. If that happened to me, I'd probably just rather be dead. I would struggle for sure. Air could get in, but not much. There would be no light, no space to move. A tomb in which a man might stay alive for a time. How long would depend on what strength he could find deep inside himself. If you took him out occasionally and fed him and let him breathe before you put him back in, he might survive to entertain you for quite some time. Bran? I was foolish indeed if I expected an answer. He appeared dead, his features ghastly pale, his curled-up form devoid of any movement. Get this man out, quickly. They did, for their orders were to help me up to a certain point. But nobody had ordered them to be gentle, and by the time the limp figure had been dragged from the tiny hole, where they had stowed him and deposited him at my feet, still curled around himself, he bore a few more bruises than before. I knelt by him, and Gull, stifling a curse, squatted beside me. He's alive, I said, my fingers feeling the place at the base of the neck, where the blood flowed weakly, my ear catching its faint breathing. So slow, so slow. The lantern cast a little light, but I could see the bruising was extensive. The blood was encrusted on his head, where a new, soft growth of brown hair crept over the bold markings of the skin. Blow to the head, muttered Gull. Deep, hard. Came close. Finish him. What now? We get out of here, I said firmly, while my tears banked up behind my eyes and my inner voice chanted over and over, Breathe, Theoden. Be strong. Be strong. Then we'll see. I turned to the guards. Pick this man up and carry him. And don't hurt him. You've done enough damage. Take us outside. Damage? No such thing as enough damage for the likes of him, growled the second guard. And they were less than careful as they hoisted Bran's helpless form from the ground and bore him away up the steps. leaving us to follow as best we could. I supported Gull and carried the lantern, and at length we emerged again onto the underground way, where the torches burned bright, so bright they hurt my eyes, and Gull shielded his face with one damaged hand, while silent men stood watching our halting progress. Our orders were to take you down to the edge and leave you. You'd better do it then, I told them. Bran's body was as limp as a sack of grain, suspended between the guard who held his shoulders and the one who supported his knees. His head lolled to one side. There were bruises on bruises. No part of him seemed undamaged. What was left of his clothing was stiff with blood and filth. More entertained now, there were lights and voices. Johnny babbled away cheerfully. Come on, I said to Gull. Down here, you know where. Then we're on our own. Own, he echoed, and I wondered how much he had understood between the fever and the agony of his tortured hands. He had lost fingers from both, I could see that. How many were left, the bandages concealed. Across, he said. Other side. As we stumbled down the underground way and out past the growling dogs, and were led around the hill on a narrow track not far from the water's edge, I made myself consider the possibilities. If Bran came to himself and could walk, if Gull could find the path, and the fever did not cloud his judgment, if Johnny kept still and quiet and did not distract us, if help came before dark, then maybe we would live and not be shot down like fugitives escaping justice. If. There were altogether too many ifs. They came to me as we halted on the northern side of the hill, with the sun already low in the sky and the daylight beginning to fade, that this was the reality of Bran's life and Gull's, that their whole existence was made up of moments like this, when the odds appeared impossible, and one must indeed be the best, must find solutions to the most difficult problems, and discover inside oneself a strength almost otherworldly, in order merely to survive. Sure about this? They had dropped Bran unceremoniously at my feet again, and now the big guard took a step back, speaking quietly. High above on the fortress wall, men were gathered, watching. Not too late, even now. Leave these carrion and make your way home with your little lad. You'd better go. I knelt and took Bran's head on my lap. Lord Aemon will want to hear your report, no doubt. At least save the child. You can't survive a crossing. That mongrel's near dead, and the other can't rightly walk a straight line. Try that path and you're all gone. You would leave the boy behind? There are folks here who'd care for him and see him safe home. Something flashed into my memory. My Uncle Finbar's voice long ago saying to me, "The child is yours, and you want the man as well. Has it occurred to you that perhaps you cannot have both?" We walk this way together, I said, almost to myself, my hand moving gently over Bran's shaven skull where the new growth of curling hair softened the fierce, raven-like pattern. All of us, together. The guard said no more, and soon Aemon's men had withdrawn within the fortress walls, save for 2 guards with a dog, who patrolled nearby. We were left there by the edge of the dark, quaking bog. Bran sprawled, helpless on the stones. I seated by him with the child still on my back, and Gull standing, staring out across the wide expanse of marshland to the distant hills in the north. He was swaying slightly. Slightly. Losing it. Well, this definitely seems like an impossible situation. Snake, he muttered. Otter, others, other side. You think they'll be there if we can get across? Others, get across. He staggered from one foot to the other and sat down suddenly. Head, sorry. Hands. I would tend to them if I could. When we get there. When we reach. I don't think she can breach that distance, though, Teresa. She can speak with Sean, but Aisling is still on the way to Seven Waters, so if she reaches out to Sean now, it's basically going to make their agreement moot, is what I think it was the intention with this setup. You're drifting? Okay, good night, Milu. But yeah, only she and Sean have the ability to speak that long distance to one another. She can't reach out to her uncle in that way. She might be able to, like, try and hope that he would hear it, but he stays sequestered in that forest, so I don't know. We'll see. When we get to a place of safety, I'll be able to relieve the pain quite well for you, and give you an infusion to bring down the fever. I sent for help, but I cannot be sure that help will come, Gull. Do you understand? Understand, he echoed faintly. We have only till dusk to get away. As soon as the sun sinks, Aemon's archers will begin to shoot, and they will come down with torches. We have only one pathway to follow. If the chief does not come to himself in time, I don't know what we will do. At that moment, Johnny decided to make his presence known, and there was no choice but to unfasten his bindings and open my dress to feed him. It seemed Gull was not entirely dazed by his fever, for he moved quickly enough to support Bran's head and shoulders with his knees, while I busied myself with the child. And finally, with Johnny at the breast and the light fading to the delicate shade of fresh lavender blooms all around us, and no sound but the harsh cry of herons out on the boglands, with Bran lying still and distant as some carven warrior on a tomb, I found I could no longer hold back my tears. What had I done? Why had I thought I could ignore the warnings of the fair folk themselves? I had believed somehow that I could save these men, could make a future for them and for myself. Now it seemed we would all perish, and Johnny as well. Him I might have protected, but for my wretched pride. Dying, Gull observed bleakly. Blow to the head. Won't wake. He'd call for the knife if he could. Well, he can't, I snapped with my tears forgotten. It's not his decision. He cannot die. I won't allow it. The small shadow of a chuckle. Broke the code, the two of you. Wait till I tell Snake. His words trailed off in a gasp of pain. Gull, we're going to have to try this. Understand, walk, carry. I'm strong enough. I don't doubt it. And you know the way, for you led my sister across once. But you are hurt and exhausted, and he will not be able to help you. Strong enough, Gary. Then we must go now, as soon as the child is fed. Dusk is approaching fast, and it seems no help can reach us in time. Gull gave a sort of grunt and rolled Bran onto his side. Ready, he said. You'll need help. Hands no good. Not now. For it is indeed not possible to grasp a man's arm or fold of his clothing and hoist him onto your back when your hands are as badly damaged as Gull's were. The slightest touch made him wince with pain. Step by step, that was the only way to do it. Take it in very small stages and try not to think too far ahead. For to do that would make the heart fail and the last vestiges of courage die. Put Johnny in his binding and fasten him on my back as tightly as I could. He was quiet for now. Then, bend to lift Bran's shoulders from the ground. Try to help Gull get his own shoulder underneath and lever the helpless man up. Gull's hands were quite useless. He could bend an arm around and shove with his knees, but he could neither hold nor grip. I bit back my words. How can you carry him? What if he slips? Between us, We dropped him 3 times before, laboriously, Gull got to his knees, and then precariously to his feet. With his friend balanced across his shoulders, head on the left, legs on the right, arms dangling. Gull held his own arms hooked up behind, the mangled hands pointing stiffly skyward in their bloody wrappings. From the battlements above there was a scatter of derisive applause. Welcome in, Marissa, to the tavern. That's good, I said encouragingly. That's really good, Go. We need to go now. Many birds were calling now out over the wilderness, flocking to roost in whatever desolate corner of this inhospitable country they called their home. The setting sun turned the pools of open water as red as blood. Go now, said Go, and we looked at each other and looked away. I saw the truth in his fever-brightened eyes. This way was death. I think we might share a flask of very strong drink on the other side, I said. My words were confident. It was the tremor in my voice that gave me away. Then Gull stepped out onto the surface of the bog, very carefully, his bare feet moving from one clump of grass to the next, right, then right again, then left. And I followed in his wake, my skirts tucked up into my belt, the child still mercifully silent. I felt cold sweat break out all over my body. I heard the quick, uneven sound of my own breathing, sensed the thudding of my heart. One step, another. We moved forward slowly. So slowly I did not dare to look behind to gauge the distance an archer might shoot with accuracy to find its target by torchlight. And then we came to a place where the clumps of vegetation were far apart. A stride for a man, or for a long-legged woman like my sister Neve. For me, a jump. I hesitated. As Gull moved on ahead, I could not say, wait, lest I startle him, and he lose his footing. Quickly, Eden, I told myself, or he'll be out of sight, and then... I jumped, landing awkwardly, my boots sliding on the wet foliage. I put my arms out for balance and, teetering, regained my footing. Around me in the dark brown of the marsh mud, there were little sucking and plopping sounds, hungry sounds. Gull's progress was steady enough, though still very slow. A step, a pause, another step. He was bent well forward under Bran's dead weight. It must be difficult for him to see the way. Leiden. His voice came back to me, strangely disembodied in the emptiness. I'm here. Nearly dark. I know. Later, if the clouds held back, there would be a little light. But this would be a waning moon, too faint and too late. We must go on as best we can. He made no reply, but moved forward again, and I could see how his bare feet balanced on the unpredictable surface, the toes curling, the foot adjusting the set of the body's weight. I could see how, even with his hands mangled and helpless, he still kept a careful control of the burden he bore, bending to left or to right, forward or more upright, to maintain a secure stance. After dark, he would no longer be able to find the way. Then it would hardly matter what strength he had, or what skills he employed. As the light faded, I began to feel short, sharp stabs in my hands, and on my ankles and on my face and neck. There was a little high-pitched droning sound that came and went. Swarms of biting insects were arising from the swampy land, no doubt overjoyed to discover a large and juicy meal. Johnny began suddenly to cry, a sharp wailing of distress. There was nothing I could do to help him, and his small, panicky voice rang out unanswered over the marshes. And in the distance I thought I heard another cry, hollow, unearthly, halfway between a scream and a song. Perhaps this voice foretold another death, as a young man-at-arms had once said. I told myself not to be foolish, but the sound was still there, ringing in my head, vibrating in the sickly swamp air, howling in the purple light of the dusk all around me. The wail of the banshee. Johnny was screaming in protest now. It was the first time in his short life he had cried out, and nobody had come straight away to help him with whatever he needed. Dry clothes, sheltering arms, kind words, a lotion of wormwood and chamomile to take away the small, buzzing creatures that were hurting him, and would not stop. Are you watching something over there? Is it the cat?
What?
I don't know. Oh, maybe it's just the music.
It is the music. Come on. So, looks like you got somebody call over.
Yeah, I welcomed in Marissa. But thank you. Gonna take a minor break. My hermit throat is not used to all of the talking. Richie Love, hello! So happy to hear a human. You and Big Man need to do a duet. We can. If my voice doesn't give out by the end of this chapter. That is one thing that I just cannot understand how Castle does it. Just reading for hours and hours because it is hard. It is hard. But he does do all of the videos and stuff, and he basically has to talk for a living, so I'm usually doing all the behind things. So my throat's like dying. But welcome in. We've got, let's see how long we got. Oh, we only have like 5 pages left, so I talk for fun nonstop. Yeah, I know, Maddie. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Luis Candelario. Welcome in. I don't know if you are currently watching or if you happened to watch another video and just decided to subscribe. But welcome nonetheless. Okay, we can get through this. Gotta see if they make it through. Okay. Where did I leave off? Oh yes, they're getting bit by all the bugs. It's all right, Johnny, I muttered as I wobbled for balance on a ridiculously small patch of dry ground. Surely Gull didn't expect me to jump across to there. It was too far. It wasn't fair. I could not leap so far, not with a child on my back. If only Johnny would stop crying. If he would just stop. I peered ahead in the half-light. On the other side of the wide, unbroken expanse of black mud, Gull had stopped walking. He was standing very still, and I sensed that he had his eyes closed. He was saying something, but I could not hear the words. It was too far. I would land in the mud halfway across, and the swamp would swallow me and my child, and it would be over. My throat was dry, my body clammy with sweat. My head throbbed. I can't do it. I can't. Then Gull spoke again, and I heard him. Maiden, still there. I'm here, but I don't think I can. Need help. Hands can't hold. Donna, give me strength. He must not let go. He must not. Surely we had not come so far for nothing. I'm coming, I called and jumped, willing my body across the impossible space. I landed a little short of the larger islet of dry ground where Gull stood, my feet sinking down into soft mud and my body sprawling forward on the grassy ground. I gripped the foliage hard as I felt the voracious clutch of the bog around my legs, tugging me down. Johnny was sobbing in shuddering gasps, telling me in his small tale of woe that the world was suddenly different, and that he wanted me to make it better. Right now, please. My face screwed up with effort as my hands grasped and clawed on the wet leaves, and then, with a decidedly unpleasant sound, the clinging mud released me. I crawled away from the edge and got to my feet beside Gull. The light was almost gone. I could barely see his face before me. Put your hands up, he whispered, and his voice betrayed the pain I could no longer read on his features in the darkness. Take the weight for me. Not long, just hands. I stood behind him and reached up to put my own hands against Bran's limp form. Then Gull attempted to unhook his arms from where they were bent up to hold his friend secure on his shoulders. But the cramp was so bad, he was hard put to move them at all. Still, stoically he bit back a scream of pain as he brought his bandaged hands slowly down. Now that we were standing still, Johnny seemed to anticipate a swift response to his protest, and his voice grew louder and more insistent. Yeah, we've also got a subscription from Warden Batdog. But I don't know if they're in here.
Is it over on YouTube?
Yeah.
They're probably not. They're probably coming in.
They're like the automatic stuff. Trolls or spam. It could just be that they're subscribing while watching the non-live videos. So, but if you are in here, thank you. Gull staggered sideways and regained his footing. All I could do to help was make sure Bran did not fall from where he had lay balanced. We would never get him up again, for one error on this small, safe patch of ground would send him rolling down into the sucking mud. We can't go on, can we? I asked Gull. Oh, never mind, I thought that was Gull talking, sorry. We can't go on, can we? I asked Gull bluntly. Go on. He tried to flex his fingers and sucked in his breath. Bent his elbows experimentally with a groan. Go on. No choice. What else? We can't see the way, and there's a limit to how long you can hold him. Can't stay. Men, torches, go. Other side. But it was dark, and we could not go. Perhaps you should put him down. My heart was cold, but I forced myself to say it, although it seemed as good as admitting we had failed. Going on was pointless. If Gull collapsed, which appeared more likely by the moment, the men were both gone. And that would be the end for Johnny and me. Without Gull to guide us, we could neither go forward nor back. Can't put down. Never. Up again. All right. Let me think for a little. Perhaps there is an answer. Men. Torches. Repeated Gull in a voice now barely audible. They would not cross in the dark to pursue us. Aemon had said only, we will light torches and we will shoot. Nothing about coming after us. Would they? Listen, said Gull. And now between Johnny's sobs, between the strange gurgling sound of the swamp and the strident croaking of frogs, and the endless buzzing of the blood-sucking insects, I could hear men's voices. Distant enough, but coming ever closer. Peering back in the darkness, I thought I could see lights, moving slowly toward us over the inky surface. Put him down, I said heavily. We can go no farther. At least if we must die, I would do so with my arms around the two of them, Johnny and his father, with the best of friends by me. There it was again, an eerie counterpoint to the little sounds of night, that distant morning wail that turned the spirit to ice. Strong, Gull whispered. Strong. Stand. Carry. And he lifted his arms again and stretched them up to support the other man's body. On my back, Johnny fell suddenly silent. Sorry, I choked. Of course I will not give up. How could I think of such a thing? Our mission is but half completed. Then, all at once, there was another sound. A harsh cry. Oh, thank you, 1060. Welcome in. Thank you for joining the tavern. Hope you enjoy this story. We're reading Son of Shadows by Juliet Marie. We're kind of hitting the climax right now. It's like watching an audiobook. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to. I only read on Sundays. Castle reads on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, this is fantasy. This author in particular likes to do all of her books with Irish folklore inspiration. I think I read these. This came out, I think, in like 2001. Yeah. May of 2001, so I was at the beginning of high school. Yeah, so she has a lot of really great books, but this is the second book of a trilogy. Same, yeah. Yeah. Gotta love the times in the 80s and 90s. All right. Where did I leave off? Wait. Yeah. Okay. So, men with torches coming after them, and they heard a harsh cry out in the night. A squawking, calling sort of cry. The voice of a raven. My heart lurched. Maybe help has come, I said through dry lips. Maybe help has come at last. Now we could see northward across the marshland, a small dancing ball of light, an odd, flickering shape that seemed to be flying swift toward us, and calling out in Fiacha's voice as it came. Nearer and nearer above the dark surface, this apparition moved as if it came close to, and as it came close I heard a rustling and creaking in its path, as if the very bog itself were changing as it passed. Gull stood beside me, mute. As for Johnny, he was quiet now, but his fist maintained a tight grip on my hair. There had been altogether too much jumping and bouncing around, his little hands told me, and I had better make sure that there was no more. Gull exclaimed softly in a foreign tongue, and I spoke under my breath. Donna, Mother of the Earth, hold us safe in your hand. For as we watched, we saw that the light was like a burning torch in the shape of a flying raven. Not so much a bird as an otherworld fire in the semblance of a bird. And as this light passed over the bog, strange plants rose out of the mud, long, branched, strong, tendrilled, and wove themselves together with clinging fronds and tangling twigs to form a narrow pathway above the surface. A pathway that led ahead of us, straight to the north. Straight to the low hills and to safety. The light, which might or might not have been Fiacha, hovered above, showing us the way. I cleared my throat. Just as well you didn't put him down, I said. Come on. On, said Go, and stepped onto the delicate-looking tangle of foliage, scarce 2 handspans wide. It creaked under his weight, but held firm. I moved after him, and Johnny made a sound of protest. I began to sing to him quite softly, so as not to distract Gull, who must still move with great caution, for there was a considerable way to go, and he must support his burden and maintain a straight path. I sang the old lullaby, a song so ancient that nobody could remember what the words meant. This language might still be known somewhere, perhaps amidst the standing stones, with their cryptic markings. The head looked on in silence as I lay with Bran in the rain and made this child, perhaps in the hearts of the oldest oaks that grew in the deep, secret places of the Forest of Seven Waters. I sang, and Johnny was quiet, and he moved steadily on to the north. The ball of light flew from one side to the other, sometimes behind, sometimes in front, always keeping pace. It was Fiacha, all right. Once I looked back, for the voices of Aemon's men could still be heard somewhere in the darkness. And I saw that in our wake, where we had walked across a narrow, safe pathway of twisted growth, now there was no path, only a line of bubbles on the surface of the mud. And in time the voices behind us faded, and the lights disappeared, and we were alone on the night with our strange guide. Aid had come, and as I had been told it would, when we were at the extreme of need. when our own strength was all but exhausted and we had run out of solutions. I was bone-weary and my head throbbed, but now I allowed my mind to consider, cautiously, what must be done when we reached dry land. Gull had said Bran was too far gone to wake. He had said the chief would ask for the knife if he could. If I were to refuse this, it meant it must be with good reason. I had got it wrong with Evan, and had prolonged his suffering. This time, if I said I could heal him, I must do it. I must bring him back. "Other side," said Gull up ahead of me. The cawing, flapping ball of brightness that was Hiaha was in front of him, and Gull's figure was silhouetted against the light. Bent over, his poor hands still helplessly pointed upward, and the unconscious man held firm by his friend's broad shoulders and supporting arms. These men had such strength, such powers of endurance, it was no wonder simple folk believed them to be something more than mortal. They shared a bond of brotherhood, a loyalty that meant your own life was of little consequence when your comrade was in trouble. This they had without ever acknowledging it, even to themselves. "Yes," I replied. "We must keep up until we reach the other side, and hope there will be help close at hand. For Aemma's men can still use the road and may do so now." "No," said Gull. "Other side. Look." Startled, I looked up and forward and felt my parched lips stretch into a grin, and my eyes fill with tears. Not 10 strides ahead of us, there was a bank sloping upward, and at the top a line of scrubby bushes growing, and somebody was standing there with a lantern. We had reached the other side, the 4 of us. We had done it. That's the end of chapter 14. There are other writers around here. Castle is a writer, and Maddie is a writer, and Frost is writing. Actually, Bear, are you writing also? I'm not sure. I remember Frost was. I dabble in it myself. For funsies. But I do believe we've got quite a few writers around here. Oh, I am trying my best. I feel that. I definitely feel that. So that was a tense chapter. What do you guys think? Pretty crazy. Eamon's a big old jerk. I do not have such skill. Okay. Hello, Alan, and thank you for coming in. Thank you for the claps. Kevin! Yep. Words that changed my life were, my only goal is to be a better writer today than I was yesterday. That's a good goal. That is a good goal. Drama in your house again? I feel like you live in drama, Maddie. You'll get together and write a script. Going to catch up. Okay. Yeah, it was a good chapter. But now Bran seems to be definitely losing his mind. He's unconscious and kind of stuck in a state remembering when he was presumably a child and locked in some dark space, which caused his trauma and fear of the dark. So, we'll have to see how that goes. I could have been a writer, but my 3rd, 4th grade teacher inadvertently discouraged me from it. I've heard such things before with artists, but once you become an adult, right, you basically have to just make those decisions for yourself. Pursue the things that you want to pursue. And you can acknowledge that you're not good at it, you know, but try. If that's a thing you want to do. But yeah, I knew someone who said their teacher told them that their artwork wasn't good, so they decided to stop drawing. But, you know, at some point, it's not really anybody else's fault. That's the truth of it. It's tough to hear, but that's the truth. You agree, Maddie? You write BS on the net. There you go. Some form of writing. My issue is that I had conservation of words preached to me as I was going through school. I see. Yeah, I mean, I could probably use that lecture, but I like wordy stuff. I like kind of an older style of writing. I don't like a lot of the modern fantasy that I've read. A lot of it seems like it's more of a like romance genre, and I'm like, you threw some fantasy in here. It's not very good writing. It's just, you know, fluff. That's what a lot of fantasy is to me nowadays. Like, I feel like books from the 60s to the 90s, and then, you know, turn of the century, this is 2000s, just totally different. Like, suddenly the fantasy genre has been inundated with drivel. I know I'm being very critical. Sorry. I love me a good romance, but admit it's overrepresented, especially in the younger audiences I work with. Like, I like a romance too, but I don't want... I just want that to be like the side part of the story, right? Like, I would like some substance to it, but it, like, all that... I feel like every time I pick up a fantasy book now, it's about fairy men and the same absolutely annoying female lead. They're annoying to me. Like, they'll have moments where they're fine. I'm like, okay, this is good. And then they'll do something where I'm just like, wow, why are you so insufferable? Like, wow. Or they break the consistency of the characters, right? They build up the characters to be a certain way. And then because they decide that they want this character to be perfect in this moment of the plot, they're going to change who the character is. It's obnoxious. There's always been bubblegum fantasy. Yeah, I'm sure. I haven't come across them. I guess I just noticed the newer ones because I'll be like, oh, I'll read some newer books instead of rereading my old stuff. But every time I try to read newer things, I get so bored with it. And then I end up rereading my old books that I love. So, it just is what it is, I suppose. Maybe it's a me problem. I only have a handful of writers I will read. Haley, I agree. Like, it is not all romance. Yeah. It doesn't have to all be romance. And, like, it's fine if you label it as a romance book. Then you know, right? You know it's more about the romance. There's tons of fantasy romance, and you find it in the romance genre, right? That's where it belongs. To me. People are too soft nowadays. The writing shows, oh my god, yeah. I am all for a strong female lead, but not when it's done poorly. And I am so sorry to say, but most of the female leads written nowadays are not good. I won't use the actual language I would use for that. I'm just gonna say not good. Like, it's character development and the main plot. That is the point of a book. Yeah, and even with visual media, you know, in shows and movies. One example I like to use, and not a lot of people know about this anime, and not everybody likes to watch anime, but it was called 12 Kingdoms. And I will tell you, this female character was absolutely annoying. Like, you did not like her at all. I'm sure many people hated her. However, throughout the course of the story, she has significant character growth that is believable and makes total sense, and she really comes into her own later in the story, and that to me is the way it should be. I don't mean that you have to create an insufferable character, but to have one that has a believable character growth and there's a purpose to it instead of them staying stagnant the whole time. What's the point? Too many Katniss Everdeen knockoffs. Yeah, that yes. So, it's very, very annoying. Your roommate is picking a fight with the landlord. That sounds great.
Sounds like good TikTok content.
Sounds like good TikTok content. Yeah, Maddie, you could be like telling stories about all this drama you experience on the day-to-day basis. Everyone will be there to listen to the tea. But yeah, you know, I just these stories or the characters, sometimes both, are just losing that spark. It's lost. They're like all copying each other, and when you basically kind of water it down over and over and over again to the point where it's non-recognizable and it's not good writing anymore. And somehow that gets popular because that's all that's out there. It kind of reminds me of the Disney shows. Not what was the old Disney, the Musketeers. Not the Musketeers, but like after that, when they started creating family shows and they had laugh tracks, like they would have all of these moments that they wanted to be funny, so they would try to force the audience to recognize it as funny, and then we just had these terrible, awful writing shows. Awful character writing shows, and people are like, oh, it's so good. I'm like, no, you've just been brainwashed to believe that's good. Sorry.
That's why we're an entire generation who laughs when things get awkward.
Yeah. It's like, it's so frustrating. I'm sorry about that, Maddie. That doesn't sound fun. Yeah, start a blog. All the drama. People like to consume the short media videos now, though. That's the way to go. I'm currently reading Stephen King's On Writing, and from there is recommended The Elements of Style by William Strunk Jr. and E.B. White. Just beginning my growth in them, and I'm loving it. Well, that's good. I can't say that I am a particular fan of Stephen King. I will acknowledge that he has done a lot. He's done some good things. Not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. But I'm sure he did learn from some valuable mentors, even if that was through books. You're freaking out? Well, what do you want to do about it, Maddie? What can you do? That's how you gotta look at it. What are the things you can do? It sucks. Sometimes you're in situations that you don't want to be in. But try not to get too stressed out over the stuff that you cannot control, and just look at the things that you can do. So I know it's a crappy situation. But yeah, Juliette Marie, though, I do like her writing. It's good. I was mainly drawn to the fact that she did use a lot of Irish folklore and myth in it. Because the first one I read was Daughter of the Forest, which we did read already. And that was based off of the Wild Swans story. So the main characters' brothers had all been turned into swans, and I liked seeing that parallel. That's taking something that already existed and kind of reimagining it, right? Sometimes it's done well, sometimes it's not. And I thought that she did it well. Yeah, the Children of Lear, exactly. The combination of the two. That's what you're trying to? Yeah, that's all you can do, Maddie. Apologies, I went to get dinner. Abs walked into it. Oh, and walked into it. I see. But, yeah. Trying to think if there's anything newer that I could say was done really well. I read plenty of new stuff, and they're fine. Like, some of them are not bad, but I'm not gonna go lauding them to other people either, so I don't know. But again, that could just be me. The standards have changed is really all that I'm saying, and it is sad. Okay, So, do you guys want a song? Or are we ready to skedoodle into the night? Either to sleep or partake in shenanigans? Yeah, of course, Maddie. I reread The Hunger Games for the first time in about 15 years and was really surprised by how much better they were than I remember. I mean, obviously, when you're younger, you're going to see things in a different perspective because there's a whole lot of things you haven't learned yet, right? I actually never read those ones. The amount of popularity it got ended up kind of being a deterrent for me, which is super weird, I know. But just usually when things blow up, it ends up being hyped up too much, and so I have high expectations, and then when I see it or read it, I'm like, oh, that was not this. It's just it's like a letdown. Shenanigans are always good. Yeah. Yes, please. Okay. Never believe the hype. I mean, sometimes I'm on the hype train, I guess, if I caught it before it became like a big thing. Like Game of Thrones. I enjoyed it, but then it got so hyped that I know there were other people that were just like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it because it was so hyped up. And to be fair, I did try to read those books. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Partake in shenanigans, is that how you refer to living? Yeah. You know, it doesn't have to be bad shenanigans. It could be harmless shenanigans. I am a huge advocate for shenanigans. Okay, good. See, we all get along well because I think we all believe that, even if, huh?
We're all shenaniganizers.
We are all shenaniganizers. That's my term now. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, I liked the Game of Thrones show because I thought the production was done very well. The books I couldn't do. I tried. I gave it 100 pages. That's usually what I'm willing to do. I'll give a book 100 pages, and if I can't stand it, I will stop. And his writing is it's not for me. If my stuff gets blown up, you know the truth. Yeah. You kind of zoned out the movies. Yeah. The movie, I don't remember how many of them I watched. I think I watched the first and second one. They were okay. They're okay. I read the actual book of Game of Thrones, but couldn't get into the rest of the series. It takes more than nudity and blood to make it worth reading. Yeah, exactly. Like, he uses the shock factor to keep people drawn in, and I don't love it. I don't love it. So, Castle could rant about it forever. He doesn't even really like the show. I did like the show. Obviously, there were major problems with the last couple of seasons. We don't need to get into that because we'd be here all night. But I did enjoy the production quality of the show.
Well, objectively, it's one of the highest quality production television shows ever made.
Yeah, I mean, just the quality was so good. Like, how many high quality fantasy shows do we have? Not a lot. Even movies, not a lot. Not a lot. So I was excited about that. Like, it looked so good, and the characters at least were not regurgitated. I did get tired of the shock factor. The Red Wedding was upsetting, to say the least, because I'm gonna stop because I told you we could be here all night if I start talking about it, so we'll stop. Best dragons to date. Yeah. Plus, to quote the epic rap battles of history, Martin even stole Tolkien's art. Yeah, and I mean, but look. Obviously, we all get inspired by the things that we love. and the same sort of thing gets regurgitated, especially if it's done well, it's gonna get regurgitated. It doesn't mean the regurgitation is gonna be good, but it's gonna happen. That's normal. Harry Potter too. You know, she took a lot of inspiration from other popular IPs, right? So, and even Tolkien, like, obviously they're like, oh, he stole all this stuff from Norse mythology. And it's like, no, he studied myth and history, and he used those things to be incorporated into his books. And it's not stealing. It's like, you know, is this stealing the folklore of Ireland? No. It's inspired by. Like, there's a difference. Nothing is exactly original. That's exactly right. It's not like there's always going to be something else that influences that. So the more I edit, the more I judge. You got to be able to judge, because, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, it'll be judgmental. It's like, if you're going to also be a creator, you have to be able to critique other things properly in order to be able to apply that to yourself so you can make the best product you can.
Yeah, otherwise everything you make will be garbage.
Yeah. Do you want to make garbage?
You have to be willing to admit when something is bad. Like, that doesn't have to determine whether or not you enjoy it. But you have to be willing to admit when something is bad in order to make something that is objectively good.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to be like, oh, everything's good, because everybody has different tastes. That's a fat load of bullshit that is designed to coddle people, and it's not true. It's never been true, it'll never be true. But it's just something that people want to be true, because then nobody has to be bad, but that's not the way that the world works.
And Camion makes a really good point. Anything on cable is pretty much softcore corn now. Very sad. 100%, which is why I watch a lot more anime now and Korean dramas, because they are precious.
It's pretty much all
They're so adorable. Like, have you guys watched a Korean drama? Like, it's so wholesome. I'm like, even if there is like an extra love interest, it's not like this weird love triangle that's insufferable, and then they're not throwing more and more people into it, so you have this one giant orgy. Like, I'm just so tired of that in Western media. Drives me nuts. If you steal someone's work once, it's plagiarism. If you do it a lot, it's research. There. I loved Heavenly Ever After. I don't know if I watched that one. Did I watch that one?
No.
I haven't watched that one. I love Business Proposal.
Business Proposal is spectacular.
I got Castle to watch it with me, and he liked it too, so we've watched it twice. It's my friend. Wise words. Yeah. All right. What am I singing, Bear? Or what are we singing? If I can get Castle in here. What do you want? Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Not that song, please. We do shanties here. Let's not do that. Sing that song. I can't remember. Will do, Kemi, and I'll sing exactly that. I vote polka rap. Great, Maddie. Now you're gonna jump on that. Stop. Wesley's not even here.
Maddie's been on that.
A health to the company? Okay. We can do health to the company. I need Castle's help with that one. I don't quite have the voice for health to the company, but I can try. We'll see. We'll see if I can manage it. All right, let's... Need that. I'm teasing, but I gotta keep these alive, you know. Do you? Do you have to? I think that's a fib, you know. I don't know if I could do the polka rap. I get you to do Gone to America too often. Well, that's what you want. That's what you want. My darling,
Yes, my love.
do you want to sing this with me or no?
What you sing?
Here's a health to the company.
Yeah. Are you? Is your mic up super loud?
It's on 5.
Okay. Well, then I'll sing from over here because it's probably about as close as I can get. With everybody.
Okay.
What part? How are we splitting it?
I don't know. We don't have to split it up. We can just sing it, and there will be parts where they'll hate it coming out of my mouth, but we're gonna try.
All right.
We don't sing because we do it well. We sing because we want to have a good time. So, sing along.
If you know the words.
Yeah. If you know the words.
And hum like you're in church if you don't.
There will come a soldier. Yeah, we haven't done that one in a while. All right.
Kind friends
And companions, come join me in rhyme. Come lift up your voice. We can't do it together. You do it. We sing it different.
Come lift up your voices, all grief to refrain. For we may or might never all meet here again. Here's a health to the company, and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain. For we may or might never
Nice, Bear.
all meet here again. You want to give that verse a try?
It's okay. Our ship lies at anchor.
No. Here's a health to the dear lass that I love so well.
I don't have a dear lass.
That's true. Here's a health to the dear lass that I love so well. For her style and her beauty,
All right, buddy.
so none can excel. There's a smile on her
It's totally fine,
countenance
1060.
as she sits on my knee. There's no man in this wide world as happy as me. Here's a health to the company, and one to my lass.
Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain. For we may or might never all meet here again. Our ship lies at anchor, she's ready to dock. I wish her safe landing without any shock. If ever I should meet you by land or by sea, I will always remember your kindness to me.
Here's a health to the company, and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain. For we may or might never all meet here again. So
Here's a health to the company, and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain. For we may or might never all meet here again.
Bravo, bravo.
Okay, you wanted Soldier Poet King? Is that what you asked for? Soldier. We haven't done that one in a bit. And it's quite short. So we could probably do another one after that if you want. Okay? If you want. Trying to remember the tune to this. I haven't listened to it in forever.
There will come a soldier who carries a mighty sword.
There you go.
He will lay. Something I don't know.
He will lay.
Yeah.
He will lay your city
He
down.
will tear your city down. Olay, olay, olay.
Yeah.
Olay, 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 olay.
If I'm sane, then Superman is a normal human. Definitely not that.
Yeah, Superman's not like that normal human guy Clark Kent.
Yeah. There will come a soldier who carries a mighty sword. He will tear your city down. Olay, olay, oh Lord. Olay, 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 oh Lord. He will tear your city down. Olay, olay, oh Lord. There will come a poet whose weapon is his word. He will slay you with his tongue. Olay, olay, oh Lord. Olay, 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 oh Lord. He will slay you with his tongue. Olay, olay, oh Lord. There will come a ruler whose brow is laden thorn, smeared with oil like David's boy. Olay, olay, oh Lord. Olay, 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 oh Lord. Smeared with oil like David's boy. Olay, olay, oh Lord. Best singing I heard any morning. Well, thank you for that, Caedmon. We do some shanties here in the tavern, just so we can all sing together and have a good time. I don't know if you're actually singing with me. I hope you are. I know some of you do, but we can do another if you guys want, because that one is very short. So I don't know, what is it, Bear? What did you say? Something around, all around my hat. I don't know that one. I can make an attempt of learning it though, Bear. You don't want to hear me singing? Well, I can't hear you. I can't hear. So that's why you can, because we do it to just have fun. My singing shatters glass? I mean, that would be impressive. That would be impressive, Maddie. I can have Castle do rye whiskey with me. I like that one. Everyone has heard my voice. Yes, I have. I know. Look, I learned a new song for you, Bear. I did. I learned Gone to America for you. Specifically. So. Alright. We can... what haven't we done in a while? We can do Shularoon. We can do some sea shanties. We can do Wellerman. Savage Daughter. You always ask for Savage Daughter. Alright. Well, let's do Wellerman. Maybe I'll have Castle do rye whiskey with me, and then we can end with Savage Daughter. And then I think that's quite enough singing. Yeah? Yeah? I know the lyrics to Wellerman, but I bring them up anyway, just in case my brain decides to, stop working. Which is likely to happen. Fantasy by Alexander Rybak. What is that one? I don't think I've heard that one. Oh, the fairy tale. Okay. I'll look into it. Fantasy by Alexander. I looked up 7 Days Drunk, but like Castle, they only did 5 days. Yeah. Oh, you actually know the woman that did Savage Daughter? That's cool. That's very cool. I don't do her song justice, but I try. The Singing Madame. Think of the Cathedral series by Ken Follett. Oh, yeah, I haven't read those yet, but I want to. I have them on my list, my to be read list, which is quite long. I think everyone here can share that sentiment with me. We have quite a long to be read list, right? They're so good. That's good to know. I mean, I've heard good things. So long, yeah. That's kind of why I haven't started them yet. I'm like, oof, this is a commitment, you know. But I do want to read them. They do seem like they are very good. So one day. There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of the ship was the Billy o' Tea. The winds blew up, the bow dipped down. Blow, my bullies, boy, blow. Are you singing with me?
Was I supposed to?
Well, you can. You don't have to. I'm just
I
asking
was
you.
not informed.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Blow, my bully boys, blow.
Hang on a second.
Okay. She had not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Hard time getting that to go. Can't go that low. Go. I can make the really like oh face. I have the wrong lyrics or something. This doesn't look right to me.
What was the last verse that you did?
Well, I did the chorus, and then it repeats the chorus again. And then repeats the chorus again. And then repeats the chorus again. It's wrong.
Yeah.
It's incorrect. This is not correct. We're gonna try somewhere else. Throwing me off. Yeah, okay. So, yeah. I thought it was supposed to be every other verse, but whatever.
It is supposed to be.
Whatever. Okay, so before the boat had hit the water. Right? You ready?
Okay. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
3, 2, 1.
Where the boat had hit the water, the whales taking about. All hands to the side, harpooned and fought her when she dived down low. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. No line was cut, no whale was freed. The captain's mind was not of greed.
He belonged to the whaleman's creed.
She took that ship in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
For 40 days or even more, the line went slack, then tight once more. Our boats were lost, there were only 4.
But still that whale did go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
As far as I've heard, the fight's still on. The line's not cut and the whale's not gone. The weatherman makes his irregular call to encourage the captain, crew, and all.
Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. See, I need him for that. Need him for the deep parts. There's a little cheerleader. That's cute. Welcome in, Code Pillar. Okay, so, okay, are we gonna do Rye Whiskey first or Savage Daughter?
Well, I will not be joining you for Savage Daughter, so we'll do Rye Whiskey.
Rye Whiskey, Rye Whiskey.
As much as I would like to be, I am no one's savage dog.
You're no one's savage daughter. Yeah. Do they really start the song with the chorus?
If you're doing the Pirate Charles version, yes.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
I'll eat when I'm hungry,
I'll drink when I'm dry. If the hard times don't kill me, I'll lay down and die. Rye whiskey, rye whiskey, rye whiskey, I cry. If you don't give me rye whiskey, I surely will die.
I'll tune up me fiddle and rosin my bow.
I'll make myself welcome wherever I go.
Beefsteak when I'm hungry, with booze when I'm dry.
Doubloons when I'm hard up, and religion when I die.
They say I drink whiskey, my money's my own, and them that don't like me
Can leave me alone.
Sometimes I drink whiskey, sometimes I drink rum.
Sometimes I drink brown ale and other times none. I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry. If the hard times don't kill me, I'll lay down and die. Rye whiskey, rye whiskey, rye whiskey, I cry. If you don't give me rye whiskey, I surely will die.
But if I get boozy, my whiskey's my own.
And them that don't like me can leave me alone.
Jack of Diamonds, Jack of Daniels, I know you of old.
You robbed me my pockets of silver and gold.
Oh, whiskey, you villain, you've been my downfall. You've kicked me, you've cuffed me, but I love you for all. If the ocean were whiskey and I was a duck,
I'd dive to the bottom and drown to get drunk.
I'll eat
When I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry. If the hard times don't kill me, I'll lay down and die. Rye whiskey, rye whiskey, rye whiskey, I cry. If you don't give me rye whiskey, I surely will die.
My foot in a stirrup, a scarf in my hand. I pray thee, sweet Lily, she'll find a good man. Her parents don't like me, they say I'm too poor, unfit and unworthy to enter her door. Sweet milk when I'm hungry, rye whiskey when dry.
If a tree don't fall on me, I'll live till I die.
I'll buy my own whiskey and make my own stew.
And when I get drunk, it's because of you.
I'll eat
Drink when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry. If the hard times don't kill me, I'll lay down and die. Rye whiskey, rye whiskey, rye whiskey, I cry. If you don't give me rye whiskey, I surely will die.
I'll drink my own whiskey and finish your wine. Some 10,000 bottles I've killed in my time. I've no wife to quarrel, no babies to bawl. The best way of living's with no wife at all.
Rude.
On Moloch Mountain I wander alone. I'm drunk as the devil, oh leave me alone. You may boast of your wisdom and brag of your blood. We'll both be forgotten in the wake of the flood.
I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry. If things don't get better, I'll lay down and die. Rye whiskey, rye whiskey, rye whiskey, I sigh. If I've run out of rye whiskey, I might as well die.
Rye whiskey, rye whiskey, rye whiskey, I cry. If you don't give me rye whiskey, I surely will die.
Yay, thank Thank you for helping. I like that song. I'm not a lush. I don't drink like that, but I like the song. It's fun.
There's also like 80 different combinations of that song and the variations of the verses.
Is there?
Yeah, there's like so because the original song, I don't remember exactly what the story is, but the original song was written a long time ago, and it was not properly written down and recorded, so there've been a bunch of different like variations that reorganized the verses.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, I guess that's normal. Like, that happens a lot. Bear says he made his own stew from pages 69 and 82 of the Festivals book.
That's his cue for you to plug the festival.
He wants me to plug the Festivals
Yes.
book? Right, here you go. The Festivals book, folks. If you are interested in Castle's family's way of honoring Norse Gaelic traditions for festivals all throughout the year, it's all in here. It's all in this book. It gives you some of the history behind it, modern day practices for it, and recipes. It is not a religious book, just so you know. It's not religious. It's about the cultural traditions of these festivals. Just curious if you got... I did. I'm getting to it. And Maddie, I would be happy to do so if you want me to. I am fine with that. I can do a bundle price. Otherwise, I do $25 a pop for emojis. What else did I miss? Did you post pictures of the stew, Bear? I did see one of the stews, yeah. 1060 had not heard that one. Now it's one of their favorites, which is good. I like that one. It's fun.
Yeah, right.
You can get the book on Amazon or you can get it on our website. Either one. We have some in stock currently here, so we'd be able to ship it out right away. I think Amazon takes a little while because it's KDP, so they might print it on order. I'm not sure. You'd have to check. But either way. Or a nana? What's a nana? Like grandma? But yeah, it's a great little book. We basically just tried to price it so you guys had access to it. It's not a moneymaker or anything. We just want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to participate in these festivals if they want to. Because we do have a lot of people that have come from either Norse or Gaelic bloodlines, and they've lost touch with those things, and they want to have a way to do that again. So, yeah, the only Nana I know, Bear, is a grandma. So, all right, we'll do Savage Daughter. Ooh, you're gonna make lamb stew? Yum. You're from both? I'm mainly Scottish and Irish. Very cool. I mean, definitely. I mean, everyone's welcome to partake. You don't have to be of those bloodlines, but there are a lot of people from there whose ancestors have immigrated and they just lost touch. And half related to a Greek. Yes, that's right. Right. I know I don't get the inflections correct on Savage Daughter, but I'll try to remember it to the best of my ability. I am my mother's savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage daughter, I will not cut my hair, I will not lower my voice. My mother's child is a savage. She looks for her omens in the colors of stones, in the faces of cats, in the fall of feathers, in the dancing of fire, in the curve of old bones. I am my mother's savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage daughter, I will not cut my hair. I will not lower my voice. My mother's child dances in darkness. She sings heathen songs by the light of the moon, and watches the stars and renames the planets, and dreams she can reach them with a song and a broom. I am my mother's savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage daughter, I will not cut my hair, I will not lower my voice. We are all brought forth out of darkness into this world through blood and through pain, and deep in our bones the old songs are waking, so sing them with voices of thunder and rain. We are our mother's savage daughters, the ones who run barefoot, cursing sharp stones. We are our mother's savage daughters, we will not cut our hair, we will not lower our voice. Could hear my voice going at that last one. Probably should have done this one first. My mom's side is Irish, French, Dane, Norwegian. Dad's in English and Scottish. His half-sister is Greek. Got it. All over. You are very welcome, Kamian. And I'm glad we had Alan in here. We got 1060 in here. Got some new folks in for the Sunday streams. I hope you've been enjoying this book as much as I do. All right, very cool, Maddie. I will get to it as I can. As someone who has heard the writer perform it, I say that was a very well done performance. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I do appreciate you saying so. I kept going, but there were parts I was like, oh, my voice can't do it tonight. Oh, FYI, my name is like the year 1060. Please feel free to call me 10. Okay. I will do my best to remember that. 10. Is 1060 significant for you? A lot of English and Scottish in my dad's. Yep. Supposedly we have a family crest. That's cool. That's very cool. If you can figure out what it is, like, keep hold of those things so they don't disappear. Maddie, references will definitely be needed. And what sort of emojis you want, you know, expressions, if you want other characters, if you're going to do all of them, Barry, you know, whatever you want. You just got to let me know all the things. I found the family tartan pattern. It was kind of cool. That's cool, Kemian. Yeah, you want to, if you can get the information about your ancestors, you should grab that stuff and hold on to it and pass it on so it stays alive in your family. Well, you are very welcome, Bear. Thank you for coming to hang out, helping me keep an eye on chat. Really appreciate that. I really appreciate that, since I've got my head down most of the time. But thank you so much for you guys for hanging out, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Are we getting on tomorrow for a gaming stream?
That'll be up to you and the boy, I suppose. Unless you want to do something like Don't Starve or Grounded with Sean.
Okay. Well, we will plan to do the game stream tomorrow night, which is just a Twitch stream, by the way. I think we do it on Kick also.
Yeah, Twitch.
But
Twitch and Kick.
So if you just want to hang out just to, because you're bored and want to chat, you can come hang out for that. Otherwise, Tuesday, Castle will be reading again. And as well as Thursday, he reads. And then Wednesday is our other game stream. And I will see you next Sunday. We are changing times, by the way. I believe you're starting that next week?
The start of next month.
Well, but that's coming up, so.
Yes.
Right, so probably next weekend. Castle plans to do a rant stream before my Sunday stream, so you guys can come earlier and do all the rant stuff. Thank you, Ted. Appreciate you coming in. Welcome. Happy to have you. Thank you, Bear. Thank you so much. So anyway, we will have the new schedule up on Gilded if you want to join Gilded so you can chat with the rest of the community in there and keep up with all of the news. Yay, rants! Maddie over here throwing fictional money. I love it. All right. We'll see you guys again tomorrow or Tuesday or whenever you're able to make it back to the tavern. Good night, you guys. Thank you so much. Bear has asked, Castle, do you have time for a chat?
Yeah, I can take 10 minutes.
Okay. He said he can take 10 minutes. So good night, you guys. Thank you so much. Rest well. We'll see you again soon. For those of you not feeling good, I hope you feel better. Take care of yourselves. And, okay, let's see. Hey, Camians. Hey, Black Dragon, welcome in. Hello. Hello. How is it going? Welcome in. You forgot to tell people you were gonna read. Oh my god. No, it's all good. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid. Hello, hello. You guys make sure you are following Black Dragon Tavern Gaming. They are awesome. It's a husband and wife duo, and they do a combination of a reading, and they sing shanties. There's storytelling vibes. It's just like a chill, friendly time over at the tavern. They are awesome. Make sure you're checking them out. If you like the content here in terms of storytelling and getting nerdy about mythology and fantasy and stuff like that, like you're gonna love it over there. Hello. Is this the lord or the lady of the tavern tonight? Okay, so you were suggesting, Hey Whale, to start with The Phoenix on the Sword, which is a novella